Hello and welcome to the Destiny Community Podcast. Unknown number. I forgot that I wasn't saying the number anymore. I just abandoned the number and then I unabandoned it and now whatever.
We got rid of it.
Stay committed.
Let's talk some Destiny. How's everybody doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
Yeah?
I finished Lies of P. Well,
I was
my
like,
first
Watts has been
playthrough.
living in Lies of P.
Oh, I haven't touched it yet. How's
Oh
it
my
feel?
God. It's so good.
That game's
It
lasted
is-
you like a good 2 weeks.
I had 50 hours for my first playthrough.
Love that.
Wow.
But I am the kind of person that's like, I've lied some more, so I'm more human. Let's go touch the cat. Will the cat let me pet them? Let's go talk to all the people. Let's check this other thing to see if the thing has happened. So every time I do anything, I'm just checking everywhere. And I'm like, oh, that's suspicious. I'm going to go to this place where I saw a thing that's in this letter. So yeah, I've been like reading everything and exploring everything. And it's been very
Never
What's the
been
kind
a-
of what?
No, you go ahead.
What was the hours of playthrough you think if you kind of just like mainlined it?
They kept saying
like
it's like
25 or
30,
something?
30 to 50 hours is like the average. Of course, it
Okay.
depends on
I
like
didn't expect it
how
to be
good
that
you
big.
are too.
Yeah, it's hard,
I
right?
didn't
I
either.
didn't expect it to be that big.
They just put out a patch recently to nerf some bosses.
Nice.
Oh, really?
really?
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
Time for Brian to jump
I
in.
kind of wish I could
Yeah, right.
experience it
Perfect.
before the nerf.
Perfect time.
Yeah.
I
So I was
don't
gonna
know.
ask. I've never been like a Soulsborne, fan, and then I played Remnant 2, and I
Oh, yeah.
lived. I lived in that
Oh.
game for weeks.
Yeah.
Loved it. Would this sort of be another stepping stone in that genre if you kind of opened up your world
Yeah.
with Remnant? Because a
Yeah,
lot of people did.
because the thing with Remnant that I really enjoyed was like the mystery as well, and figuring things out and exploring and finding stuff. And Lies of P just has a really awesome world. It's a world that you really want to explore more about. Combat is super good, super tight. Like they just get it. I think a lot of people have said that this is like the closest to FromSoft combat that they've had in a non-FromSoft game.
Sure.
So yeah, it's really, really good. All of the bosses are great. There's not been a single boss where I was like, I don't really like that boss. All the weapons are super unique and they all vary so much, and the story is fantastic. There's an after credits scene that I want to talk about so bad, but I can't.
Is Lies of P on Game Pass?
It is. Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah,
Wait, it
it's
is?
on
I
Game Pass.
have
There you go.
Game Pass.
That's our deal, right? So
Oh,
Is
It's
it on
on
for
Game Pass.
I would've
PC and
bought
for
it again.
Xbox?
$3.99.
PC and Xbox. Yep.
Oh.
Guy math. It's like I already have the subscription, right? So that means the game's free. Hey.
That's right. I got rid of that subscription like, I don't know, sometime earlier this year. There's just no games coming out on it that were interesting to me. And now it feels like there's a ton of games coming out for it. It seems like it's kind of earned its value again. I might have to sign up again.
Waves,
Yeah.
I think.
Mhm. Starfield Lies of P. Yeah,
I
play it.
keep
It's really
it-
good.
I keep it just because I got a kid that's like,
Oh,
wanna
yeah.
play new games, and so it's like, here's hundreds of them. Knock yourself out.
Go crazy. Yeah, it's just I always
Yeah,
thought it
that
would be
would be
so
good.
good as a parent to just you don't have to buy games.
Yeah.
Just here's
It's
the library.
perfect.
Go crazy.
Yeah.
I bought it for my kids and they didn't use it too much. They really kind of get locked into one game and then just like focus on that.
They're Destiny
Sure.
players.
One of them is hardcore Destiny.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
good.
my
he's
kid-
lost forever.
My son fixates, but he does it in short spurts. So it's like for 2 weeks he's living in this game, and it's the only thing he cares about in the whole wide world. And then it's I don't want to play with you anymore, and
Yeah.
then it's fixate on something different. So that's Game Pass earns its keep around here for that reason.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
It
that
is,
way too, so it
Go
would have
ahead.
been great for me as a kid. My mom didn't let us
Yeah.
buy games.
Oh
We'd only
no,
rent them. So
they were so
something like
expensive.
Game Pass. Yeah, no. So we could do like the $2 for 2 days, like game rental, and that was about it. So,
Yeah.
So I'm like Game Pass would be great.
Yeah.
My mom would take me to like the used games store. Because I was a kid, and it was like, she doesn't know. She's getting a new game. She's like, yeah, this $2 game. Go play that thing. That's great.
We didn't even have a used game store. Like we had to drive like an hour to get to like the nearest.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I don't know, EB Games was probably Electronics Boutique was
Where
probably
did you live?
Connecticut, but it was just like there wasn't like a lot of. There was like a toy store, and they sold very few games. It was a long drive to get to
imagine.
like a mall, you know.
Uphill both ways in the snow.
It was a great place to grow up. I mean, I was mountain biking and having a great time.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Me and
True.
my buds, we'd ride our bikes down to Dave's Video Rental, and they had the
yeah,
big
we
game
definitely have
section
video
there.
rentals.
Yeah, we did that all the time.
Mhm.
Get the game rentals. But my dad was like, I remember I didn't realize you pronounce this word differently, but I'd always have to like make a case for a game I wanted to buy, right? He's like, if
Mm.
you want this game, because my dad's a businessman, right? So if you want to buy this game, you got to make a
Mhm.
case for it. And
Yeah.
I'd have to have like a whole presentation for him. Some win, some battles I won, some battles I lost. There was a game called Blast Corps, which
Yeah.
was like
Oh, yeah.
mechs.
N64.
But it was
yeah.
spelled Corps, and I was like, Dad, there's this game I want. It's called Blast Corpse. He's like, no.
You didn't do
But
enough
it's not-
research, son.
Yes. Corpse?
You couldn't
No.
Google how to pronounce corpse.
No, I couldn't back then.
No,
There's no Google wasn't really a thing
no
yet.
Google.
Yeah,
No.
that one messed me up when I
Surely
was
your
a kid
business. Surely your business case was just like, hey, Dad, I'm not gonna bother you for like 5 hours, and I'll be really quiet.
And I
Okay,
won't be
you have
doing
the game.
drugs. So
See,
I won't be on the street doing drugs.
but
That's
to
what
my
I used
dad's
to say to my
credit,
parents all the
he would-
time.
that
I used
wouldn't
to,
really
I used
work.
to use that all the time.
yeah,
They'd be
I
like,
bet you did.
"You play video games?" Like, Mum, do you want me on the street doing crack? No. Well, let me play me video game.
I will say to
all
my
the
dad's
time.
credit, he would play him with me though. Like
That's awesome.
the way I pitched
oh,
that
he's
to
just
his
waiting
talks
for
is
you to
super
mention
rigid, but-
something he wants to play too.
Oh, I would rent games, and then I'd wake up in the middle of the night hearing the game, and I'm like, what's going on? I'd sneak out there. It's like 3 a.m. My dad's sitting there like, no, I haven't seen this level yet, Dad. It's like, go back to bed.
Is he still
That's
game?
great.
Nice.
He does not still game, no.
No.
He got really bad motion sickness. So playing video games messes
Oh.
with his vertigo.
That
Oh,
makes
So
really?
sense.
he can't really do it anymore. Otherwise, I
that's
think he would.
He developed that motion sickness over time.
Well, he always had it, but it got worse as he got older.
Interesting.
2D games are easier with that stuff, like side scrolling
Yeah.
or like something like a FIFA or a Lego game or something. It's a little easier. My brother-in-law has the same kind of thing.
Yeah, he was always really good at Mario Kart until all the like real 3D stuff started happening. Then he couldn't do it anymore.
Sucks to get old.
So what's been playing Liza P?
Yeah.
I
TV,
have.
what have you been playing?
Dude, I'm living in Starfield. I actually how
Still lost to
convenient.
Starfield.
I've got Steam pulled up on this monitor, and I'm at 169.6 hours of playtime.
Nice.
I'm living in it.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah.
You still making content on it?
Yeah, I am, and it's really fun. I don't doubt. I mean, I'll be back to Destiny for the final shape. There's no doubt about it. I love Destiny,
Yeah.
but you've been doing it for almost a decade. I just kind of want to have a season that's just something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was Remnant 2, and now it's Starfield. And I've been logging in just to do like the Crota stuff. Obviously, one day I would love to have Necrochasm. So at this rate, that'll probably be 2026 sometime. But
They buffed it.
They buffed
They
drop.
buffed
They
them
did,
drop
yeah.
rates like crazy.
So, anyways, but yeah, it's been fun.
Nice. I've been slaying in Cyberpunk in all
Mhm.
ways of the word slaying.
What origin did you? So you
Murdering
started,
and slaying in the bedroom.
you started a new playthrough, fresh, right?
I never played Cyberpunk before. Yeah, I never played because obviously the way the Cyberpunk launched, it really put me off getting it.
Flawlessly.
Like
You're saying?
Yeah.
I was like,
Put
I'm not
Anthem
going
to
to
shame.
invest in this game. What's that?
Put Anthem to shame.
And
You guys think
and
you
honestly,
had a
that's
sucky launch? Yeah.
yeah, that stuck with me. Like I just thought Cyberpunk was a trash game because it launched so badly. And when I got in, I was like, this game is really goddamn good.
Yeah.
And I don't really like open world games. And I was like, I want to level up. I want to get all the
Yeah.
chrome. What's up, Tombs? You big gongs, whatever. Like, I was getting
So
into it.
what starting
Uh,
point did you choose?
Nomad is the
You
what
went
do you
to
call
Nomad.
it? Like
Yeah.
the race or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was bullied into Nomad because everyone reckons that was a better storyline, maybe, or I don't know, more options. And yeah, I've played around with the gorilla arms. I've played around with the mono wires. I've done like a
Have you done the
katana
mantis
build.
blades?
I haven't tried the new mantis blades with 2.0. I felt like they were a bit underwhelming in the first one. But I haven't given them a shot in 2.0. They've added a whole bunch of like finishes. I think you can have finishes with mantis blades as well. They've got really cool abilities now with the relic, like a new like skill tree that you can use. The launches ones is really cool. You just like burst fire these massive bullets like cannons. Yeah, but throwing bodies, fatality people.
Yeah. Open
So,
world
yeah, I'm
Mortal
really enjoying
Kombat,
it.
baby.
And you're still
Yeah,
in like
pretty
the
close.
main
Yeah.
story, right? So you haven't started like the new story with.
No, I've also started the DLC.
Oh, you have started that
because
as well?
Phantom Liberty takes place after like one of the Voodoo Boys missions. So
Oh, okay.
I was far enough along
Oh, nice.
to sort
Yeah.
of chronologically play that mission, and it's in a bubble, so to speak. So it doesn't ruin anything
Yeah.
for the main quest line. So yeah, I've stepped off the path a bit and played a little bit of the DLC as well.
That's cool. Yeah, is the DLC as good as like the main story?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard from my perspective because I kind of want to finish the main story to see how this all wraps up.
Yeah.
So I've
Sure.
had to divide my attention. But I think it's at the same level, same quality as what you expect. What you expect now from Cyberpunk and the team there. So yeah, it's been engaging.
I'm looking
For
forward
sure.
to jumping back in
Nice.
that world. As bad as it launched, I really enjoyed my time with that game on like a top of the line PC that could like struggle through it, because I also played it on a Xbox One with Watson's suggestion. I had to.
Briar did a stream
It-
on
it
the
was-
original Xbox.
It looks so bad. It looks so bad.
It's so
Like
bad.
textures not loading and all sorts of fun
It
stuff.
looked
yeah.
like a PlayStation 1 game. Like it was.
That bad, huh?
Yeah, it was really bad. But it was fun. The game itself was fun. I really dug the world and the story. I can't wait to jump back in there, especially with all the new updates and
Yeah.
improvements, because they totally revamped like all the perks and everything. So it should be much more
Yeah, the
robust.
skill tree is all different. They revamped the police or whatever the law enforcement and like the stars that you get. So I've done now. I've gone to like 5 stars and seen the max what they call max tac come in, like the
Yeah.
super
Oh, really?
super geared like police guys like chop it down and just
They're
like
coming in
blow
the
you
chopper jet.
away and all
That's
that
How's
kind
great.
of
the
stuff.
driving? Have they changed the driving at all?
I do think they changed it a little bit. It's still not the best. There is a perk now that you can like jump off and like exit vehicles. Like you just like launch yourself off motorbikes and stuff, so you can just fly into combat.
Oh,
and, like,
sweet.
Gorilla slam the floor.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's fun.
That is cool.
You also go flying off your motorbike now. Like if you crash as well, before you used to just crash into stuff and stay on your motorbike. But now if you
Yeah.
like hit a pole or whatever, you just send you launching as well. So it feels a little bit better like that and makes you a bit more careful when you're flying around. And you can also shoot too. You can shoot off your motorbike like playing GTA and out of cars, and you can get like
Nice.
vehicle mounted weapons too. So it's definitely better like car combat wise.
Changed a lot
You
of
can puncture
stuff.
tires now too. Couldn't puncture tires before either. You can
Oh.
like shoot out tires when you're in a
Nice.
chase,
No.
jump out of your
Interesting.
vehicle. Like, yeah.
I remember
Cool.
back when they had the like next gen update, and one of the things they did was populate the city more. Because
Yeah.
when I started my Cyberpunk 2077 playthrough, it was on PS5, and I mistakenly assumed it would look good there. And they didn't have the next gen update ready for launch, so you were in Night City, and you're like, "There's 3 pedestrians on
Yeah.
Main Street." Like, what is?
Yeah.
And like you're
Stop it.
flying down those streets at full speed, and there's like a car here and there, and that was it. And that was so bad on launch, just to immediately ruin your immersion. And I really enjoyed when they first had that
Yeah.
update hit, and they've just had bangers ever since then.
In retrospect, it
Yeah, the
seems
city-
really a bad idea to have had launched that on the PS4 and the Xbox. Like,
Yeah.
it really downgraded the experience, I think, across the board.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So I highly recommend if you haven't played Cyberpunk, you're like me and you were sort of umming and ahhing about it because it launched so bad. It's in a really good state now, and I think it's actually a really fantastic game. It's probably gonna be up there with one of my all-time favorite games when I finish it.
I think it's a good
Love
idea to
that.
just wait 2 years to play every game. You're going to play a better version of everything.
Weird how that works.
Yeah,
now.
and pay less for it.
Jay, what have you been doing?
Life.
Okay.
We've been doing a lot. We've
Jay, you
been
okay?
doing-
Come back to
Yeah,
us.
no, we've been doing quite a bit of Crota and stuff. We did some Master Challenge hopes today.
Oh,
We did some of those last week
yeah.
and stuff. But it's been frustrating because a lot of the issues that have been happening with like the outages and all that stuff happen like
Yes.
right when I'm going live now. So
Oh,
it's like
perfect.
just this like the whole plan you have for the day, just like it's just kind of deflating and frustrating. And I know a lot of people out there are feeling that too. So
That's always the worst part about being a streamer, isn't it? Is like having to pivot when stuff like that
Mhm.
happens. It messes up your whole plan.
You know, oddly, when I wasn't playing the game, I got my best viewership. When Destiny was down, suddenly viewership was up.
interesting.
Yeah, what do you
Well-
have you been switching games at all, Jay, or you just been getting off if it's been too
No,
bad?
I just been honestly, I've just been streaming less. Like the last few months have been inconsistent for me, which I'm trying to get back to. But there's been a lot of like life stuff outside of streaming and things that we've been dealing with, and so trying to get that back on track. But you know, we've been playing the retro games for retro slot and stuff like that, and I still play a lot of Raid Shadow Legends. I'm not sponsored. I'm just an addict. It's fine.
Man, you got to get a sponsorship, seriously.
No,
They're
that's
like,
how
we
I got
already
started.
him. Why would we?
No, that's
sponsor
how I
him?
got started. That's how they hooked
how.
me like 2.5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
So
Wow.
I've done like 3 sponsored streams since.
What's
I
your
think.
clan boss DPS? Like, what kind of damage you putting in on clan boss?
I'm one keying everything. I'm getting like 120 mil on Ultra Nightmare. And
I don't believe me. Yeah, show me your build. Screenshot your build.
I don't believe you. Okay.
What's the YouTube market
We are
like
looking
for
for
Raid
more
Shadow
members
Legends
for our clan.
videos?
What's that?
Dude, Raid Shadow Legends
the-
YouTubers pop off, dude.
Yeah.
Have you
Really?
seen some of that content? I'm like, man, I'm in
Really?
the wrong line of work. I always feel that way when my kids are watching YouTubers too. I'm like, wow, this guy sucks. What is this garbage you're watching? Yeah, it's 12 million views.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
True.
I remember when my son one time on the bus stop I was telling another kid his dad's a YouTuber, and the guy was like, "Oh, like log.zip." He's like, "Yeah, but like with a lot less subscribers." I was like, "Okay, buddy, let's cut this off."
Oh man, that's funny.
It is weird, like as a content creator, to like run across a channel and you're like, "What is this guy even doing?" And then you look at this, like the view count, you're like, "Oh my god, what am I doing?"
What am I?
The algorithm's doing
Kid
something.
content. Kid
Oh,
content.
you know,
I don't feel like I
Kid
can fit
content.
safely into that category.
you know. Also, YouTube has changed in a weird way. Is that it used to be that you used to go to your subscriber feed, like when you first logged into YouTube,
Yeah.
and just really
Yeah.
kind of browse that. And now it really does. It really does like kind of point you toward your home feed where it's recommending stuff, but it's also doing a much better job of recommending stuff that you'd be interested in. I found as a YouTube user, not just a content creator. So like,
Well, I can verify that as a content creator. My best Starfield videos, the ones that are over 100,000 views, 170,000 views, are like 98% people who are not subscribed to my channel.
oh yeah, there you go.
Yep.
That's
Algorithm
a huge
eating them.
percent. 98. Wow.
Yeah.
My Liza P videos do better than Destiny videos.
Yeah, Destiny videos,
Like, that's coming
the
from
audience is
recommended.
like
What
maxed out, right? It's like it's not like there's a ton of new Destiny people coming in all the time, so it's the viewership isn't going to go up over time, you'd think. But with a new game, you got like a whole new viewership coming in.
That's right.
You do, and people are searching for stuff, right? So
Yeah.
any game that people are searching for stuff on is gonna be it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
what you get with your Liza P? What's your view at for that?
This one was at 32,000.
Love that.
So the one's like 20.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So Yeah,
Were
that's
they
good. I'm
were they
like,
quick
oh,
and
so
easy to make?
I shouldn't upload this. Yeah, one of them that I uploaded was it took like 5 minutes because I just did it live and was like, hey, I found a thing. I'm going to show you
That's
guys.
the best.
I'm
That's what
gonna
I
title
do
this
now.
episode of DCP Starfield Tips and Liza P Cheats. We'll see how well it does.
That's funny. But yeah, the server issues, man. Destiny servers have been. I feel bad for the people working at Bungie who have to deal with it because you had to fix that crazy weapon bug,
Yeah.
and then during it, you're getting DDoSed.
So is that attack still happening? Like, I was trying to like look around a little bit and like, is this still happening or is it gone away? It seems like people are reporting that it's like, it's gotten a lot better in the last 2 days, but it's still
Yeah.
a little iffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was totally fine today.
Yeah.
It looks like I brought up the C-Bro on Twitch, does a stream of DDoS Watch. So he's just got Destiny servers on his Twitch stream, and you can just look at what's going on.
Oh, really?
The
That's funny.
spikes and the valleys.
Yeah. Yeah. So people have actually been looking at this to be like planning when they should get on Destiny. Because they're like, oh,
Sure.
it looks like the guys are DDoSing again. Yeah. But today was totally fine. It's just been unfortunate that I've wanted to play Trials. And of course, the first time Igneous was around, we had crazy weapons. And then they brought it back again, Jav 4, Igneous Hammer. And the servers was just every time I'd like, okay, I'm gonna get on, and I'm like, oh, well, guess
And then
I'm
you
not
get hit
getting
with
on.
like leaving penalties and stuff, right?
I think they stopped that because
Okay.
of these issues. Yeah, so
sure.
you don't get any
Initially,
of
it was
that.
okay.
That's good.
Yes, yeah. So hopefully they've nipped it in the bud. These guys are brave, DDoS and Bungie.
Yeah, I
That's
wonder if
not-
they've
that's
nipped
a
it in the
bold
They will
bud,
murder you.
or if the guys just ran out of money to pay for the server time to do this DDoS attack, and if it will resume again.
He's
I'm
probably
gonna say
crowdfunding money.
I would
I'm going
not
to
be
say
surprised.
definitively, without a doubt, it is 100% fixed.
You
You heard it here.
do
All right.
Why would you do
100%.
Well,
that?
now that I know that, I'm gonna make some plans.
I was saying,
Damn.
6 months from now, you're gonna see on Twitter, Bungie wins lawsuit against DDoS attack for $3.2 million.
Yeah, what are we
Awesome.
predicting? What's the suing amount? 5 million?
Over
Honestly, more than they got for cheats, I would say, because cheats is a little bit harder to prove loss of income because of it. But this is
Right.
like
outages.
clearly.
Yeah.
I think
It's also
really
illegal.
hard to
It's a
catch
federal
somebody.
crime.
It is
so
a federal
I don't even
crime.
know if you get sued. You might just go to jail.
I think it's very hard to catch somebody who's doing this because isn't it basically like it's based on like people
Proxy and
downloading
all that.
malware, and then you like everybody who's got that malware on their PC, you basically use them to DDoS like a server all at once. So it's like it's just like it's these attacks come from all over the place, and it's very hard to figure out like who's behind it.
I don't know. The Bungie assassination squad might be on it.
I'll say when the Bungie lawyers come back, that we found this 12-year-old kid. Bungie's like, F them kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're taking them down.
Straight to jail. Straight to jail. Straight to jail.
Do not go past go.
Yeah,
Fine $5 million.
yeah.
Straight to jail.
Hope you didn't have any thing planned for your 20s, kid.
20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been
How'd you-
stable.
right.
So hopefully tomorrow will be good, although it's not going to be Igneous Hammer. I doubt they'll do it for the third week in a row. So.
It'd be
well.
nice if they did because,
Dang.
you know, people really want that. And it'd be nice for them to be able to get it without like
It's
issues.
one of the best hand cannons in the history of Destiny 2. It's a
Mhm.
banger of a gun. Yeah.
Really, really good. Also incredible in checkmate because of how they do damage. So any weapon that's
Oh,
getting
true.
consistent headshots, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You want to hear some story and lore from this week?
Yes, I
I
do.
think it is
Yeah, break
time
it
for the
down for
lore.
us.
The lore. Anyone paying attention? This week
Prior
was
leads.
I got a chance to say, "Told you so." I told you. That was literally the thumbnail. I told you so, because a couple of weeks ago, I made a video saying Imaru's interest doesn't really align with Savathun, and whether he would refuse to revive her. And so I made that video a couple of weeks ago, And that's pretty much what happened this week. And Mara was like, yeah, I don't really care if we revive Savathun or not.
Yeah.
And there is definitely a little bit of doubt with Amaru thinking that he could be another contingency plan and that Savathun would easily get rid of him. It's in one of the lore entries this week that we got. He's actually reading through hundreds of contingency plans from Savathun. They were all pre-recorded messages before she died. And she predicted all these different stuff. She predicted Rasputin falling. She predicted the witness getting hold of the Traveler and incapacitating it. And she also had some other predictions in there that didn't come true. Like she talked about Akora, rather than Eris being the one that took the bargain, like Akora being the one. And she's like, oh, Akora's got super bloodlust. She was in the Crucible for quite some time. Like, if we get her, your job's going to be easy. Obviously, that didn't happen. But we did get Eris. And she even hints at the dark future again, saying that if we get Eris, she might become the new leader of the Hive, which is what happens in the dark future. Which is, I still think it's bait, but Bungie is pushing this bait like every week. Like Eris will kind of turn and not be friendly anymore. I still think it's not going to happen. The other thing is we still don't know what Eris Morn's plan is. It's almost reiterated every week that like we can't just beat Xivu at this game. We're kind of just stalling in a holding pattern, and Eris needs a plan. I feel like this week she sort of hinted that she has a plan, and she's because she says to Mari like, you just can't see the bigger picture kind of deal. She says she has a plan for the sisters, Savathun and Xivu, so we don't know yet. And I don't know, apparently next week, I've been told, is like the last sort of story week according to Triumphs.
Interesting.
Makes sense.
I know, I have no idea how this is going to wrap up.
You're not going to bring Xivu. Or God, I hope they don't. I hope they don't bring Xivu. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't feel like you can introduce Xivu and have a battle with Xivu during a season. Maybe you could, but she couldn't be defeated, and how are you going to defeat the God of War?
Right.
I would be disappointed if it happened off screen. Is Savathun going to come back? She talked about a contingency plan that Erismon would find a way into the Traveler without reviving Savathun, but she would need to get enough strength from killing the Vanguard and the Cabal and the Elixni, which is interesting because that's exactly what Oryx did in the Books of Sorrow. He killed his sisters, got the power from the killing to kill Akka, and like sort of went on this rampage. So there's definitely similarities between her predicting Eris.
But why is it that Amaru is hesitant to want to revive Savathun? I mean, it's interesting because I always felt like there was this. They were really different characters, and the idea of them being together was kind of a strange pairing because I never really saw the chemistry. But anyways, you mentioned that at the beginning of this. Why is that?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I didn't actually explain that. So they have very different viewpoints. Like Imaru really despises humanity and Guardians and their treatment of ghosts and the light. And Savathun is kind of like allying with us and giving us a lot of praise, and that's pissing him off a fair bit, right? That she's sort of giving us so much trust in doing these things, and he's trying to justify it in the lore entry, saying, "Oh, maybe she's like baiting humanity," but he's still jealous of what she does there. And there's other little things that Savathun does that Imari disagrees with. Like one of them is Imari gets really upset at Guardians for targeting Hive ghosts and destroying ghosts and their treatment of ghosts. Savathun experiments on ghosts. So there's like the direct conflict with some of the things that Savathun does and Imari's viewpoint as well. And they conflict on lots of those things. And that's why he's kind of like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't revive you.
To be fair, we got really mad when Cade 6 got killed and they killed his ghost, like to kill him. And now we do that like all the time.
Yeah, like so Imari has this little sentence he says, he's like, everybody knows you don't target the medic, because he's talking about ghosts. He's like, they're the medics in the field. You don't target them. And we're just like grab 5 ghosts and like crush them, right?
Well, because then they come back to life.
Savathun is Savathun's off in the corner, like literally experimenting on ghosts. She has like a pile of dead ghosts in some of the lore entries.
Mhm.
So it's like on him on one side saying we don't experiment. Oh, sorry, we don't kill ghosts, and then she's over there like making a pile of shells, like experimenting in the spire.
I have to apologize. I see my thing lighting up. My dog is chewing on a bone on the hard floors above me. And if you hear that, I am sorry. She's going to town on that thing.
You got to give the dog a
That's
bone.
okay.
You
I
know?
hear it.
Yeah.
Dug a bone.
Very
Oh
interesting.
yeah.
Very cool. The conflict
I
between
mean-
Amaru and Savathun. It's cool. They're conflicting
possible that-
values.
Yeah, it's possible that we like now I'm thinking maybe we won't see Savathun revived. And this is what the writers were talking about because they were sort of backpedaling a fair bit on Savathun. Like,
were.
hey, don't expect too much from Savathun. Like, and then this season released and like, oh, okay, I kind of get it now. It's like all these pre-recorded messages relayed through Imaru. So she's not like front and center. It's really Imaru front and center and like Savathun having these pre-recorded contingency plans that we're hearing from her, but she's not like
Yeah.
the main focus. But now I'm thinking, well, now that he's like, yeah, don't need to revive her. Maybe she won't come back. And the other reason I didn't mention is Imaru's been leading the Lucent Hive, and he likes that leadership position, right? In Savathun's
Oh.
stead. And that's what he mentioned in the gameplay, in the cutscene. Like, I kind of like being the leader. Savathun don't agree with me, so
When he says he's the leader, so you say he's the leader of the Lucent Hive. Would he have had any agency in the leadership of that effort to revive Oryx in the dungeon?
yeah, that was a big question whether he ordered that or not. I am not aware, or I can't remember if there's anything specific there, but that's kind of the question I had too, whether he was trying to revive Oryx, because I don't feel like he would have done that, to be honest, but he technically is in charge of the Lucent Hive. Maybe chat can correct me, or someone correct us in the comments.
Seems against his better interest. If he's very
Yeah,
happy like being the leader, then Crota would obviously take that position, right?
Yeah, Oryx, yeah.
Sorry, Oryx.
yeah, Oryx, yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't imagine that would be in his best interest to revive
Well,
Oryx
it may not.
either.
It may be if it means like securing his future. You know, if it's
rather than
the
Savathun.
alternative, if it's the alternative to being subjugated by humanity, he may take it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think
Just
that
having a quick look
they'll?
to see if they've got anything else?
Do you think
Go on,
they'll
Jay.
use the time for next season to lead up to Final Shape with this storyline?
I don't know when Ziva is going to come back into it, because I don't really feel like she's going to be in a season properly. And then I can't imagine her being in Final Shape. So now I'm thinking she's going to be unresolved until whatever episode they bring back for their new sort of style of storytelling post Final
Right.
Shape. Because if you got rid of Ziva, then who's left?
Erismon.
To be like the hive villain.
Yeah,
They
it's
are
true.
like-
Like, you kind of gotta reintroduce someone.
Right. Well, they're setting up the chapter stuff as a way to kind of like bounce around storylines. So it could definitely happen. Probably.
Yeah, down the road.
I mean, unless Eris, I don't think it's gonna happen, but unless Eris becomes the new leader, like,
Yeah.
there you go. You could get rid of Ziva and have Eris replace her,
Is that
which would
too?
be pretty interesting to have like a former ally to be
It would be,
on
yeah,
the side
no
of the
doubt.
hive.
Is
Yeah,
that
it'd be
too
crazy
on the nose
interesting.
though? Do you
Yeah.
think? With
I
how
think
she's
so.
been-
Yeah.
She's been the way
Yeah.
that she's been kind of shown in the season. It's like she looks evil. It's like, well, it's because she is evil. It's like, feels a little too on the nose to me, but it could totally be.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they'll go there just because it's been predicted for so long that Eris is not someone to be trusted, and then I think they're just sort of dangling that carrot there, but won't go down
Man,
that
she
path.
would make a great adversary though, wouldn't she?
Can you imagine
Really
her becoming
cool.
a villain?
She knows
Like-
too
Like,
much.
because she's
Like,
super
about
Stasis
cool as an
abilities?
ally.
Right? She's got stasis
Yeah.
abilities. We've seen her wielding stasis, and then also
Yeah.
her deep knowledge of the hive, her history with the hive, and all of her dabbling
Yeah.
in the darkness. Man, she would make a great adversary.
And Drifter will be
Mhm.
like right along for the ride with her, bringing her all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, he'd be like
Hey,
his
I hear
minion,
they're gonna
hey.
drop Gambit from the weekly playlist. You got room for me and your crew?
Imagine she's been a spy all this time, you know? Like that would be just gathering information
Spy
on
for the hive.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean they've been hinting a lot at the dark future, and one of the things that Elsie Bray talks about is her smile. She's like Elsie Bray's talking to Ikora Ray, saying like she has the same smile. This is where the corruption came from. It's just power, and that's what Eros actually spoke about today. Like she's just smiling away when she's tithed to this violence and vengeance, like she's enjoying it, and that's why Elsie Bray is really concerned that she's going down the same path as evil Eris in the dark future.
Oh.
There you go.
On the nose
Tune
or
in next
not,
week.
I might be there for it, you know?
Sure. No, I think
Yeah,
I'd
same.
enjoy it, but I was just more like, would they actually do it or not?
How many more weeks of like story are there? Like 1 or 2?
Probably one.
Apparently,
apparently.
one, from what I've been told.
Okay.
If you go by the triumphs, but sometimes you'll get one before the final week as well, or you get like an epilogue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They have a lot to cover.
It's
before final
been a
shit.
great season story wise, to be honest. I've enjoyed it.
It
a lot.
has.
Yeah.
And like there's also been the mystery this season as well with the Imbaru engine stuff and finding all the secret
yeah.
chests and yeah.
It's got to be, yeah. See, maybe it's something to do with that, because the
Maybe.
Imbara engine's still sticking around. So
That room is wild.
yeah, that was a
Like-
cool encounter.
like
The
up,
Imbara
down.
engine, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Twab, anything cool in the Twab?
Yeah.
There is a twab. There is stuff. There is things.
Let's say,
Um,
I may not be like fully invested in PvP anymore, but just seeing the gunsmith changes this week, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
had me
Yeah.
sitting forward a little bit.
So first they just kind of go through the Nightfall and Trials. It's going to be the grenade launcher tomorrow. And then they go into Checkmate. So they're doing some updates to Checkmate, which is really great to hear. And this is kind of us like seeing the PvP strike team because they
Nice.
put out Checkmate for us. We've played it for like 2 weeks. And then right away they're coming like, hey, here's what we're thinking of doing for Checkmate. So I'm just going to read this because I like getting the insight into how they're thinking. For Checkmate's initial weapon tuning, we wanted to make sure that our mid-range primary weapon options had a bit of room to breathe, so we balanced the other weapon types somewhat conservatively. We did this because in early playtests, it quickly became obvious that a sandbox with dramatically reduced uptime for special ammo and abilities introduced a new issue to the game. With most of their counters no longer able to see consistent play, it enabled fast, time-to-kill primary weapons that operate at the extreme edges of either close or long range to dominate. Diving with submachine guns and sidearms became increasingly hard to deal with as players learned that other primary weapons could not kill as fast, and our mid-range options struggled to compete. Similarly, when we reduced the lethality of close-range primary weapons to bring them more in line with our mid-range options, scout rifles became oppressive without the threat of sniper rifles to keep them in check.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Yeah, you can. It's very interesting hearing an insight into like balancing a completely
no
different
doubt.
sandbox and the changes it can make. In addition, we wanted to avoid initially making any extremely jarring shifts in time to kill. For example, things like the 140 hand cannons taking 4 shots to kill across the board. So we limited how much we moved the time to kill in general. After seeing Checkmate in the wild for a week, we saw there was a substantial gap between hand cannon performance and the rest of primary weapons. Yeah, hand cannons are crazy in Checkmate. It's kind of incredible, especially now you have a bunch of igneous hammers in the wild.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So while keeping our original goals in mind of allowing mid-range weapons to shine in this mode, we're making a limited set of balance changes designed to narrow the gap without pushing faster TTK primary weapons back into dominance. For example, some machine guns and sidearms will not revert to killing in under 0.8 seconds due to the increased player health pools, but we do want to give them a little bit more forgiveness and encourage some additional variety among weapon choices. Weapons like adaptive and rapid fire pulse rifles have come back to their standard optimal TTK, while most other weapons have moved to within a single shot difference. While most of our tuning is focused on bringing other archetypes up closer to the top level of primary weapon performance, we're going to be reducing hand cannon damage. This will not affect their optimal time to kill, but will instead act as a reduction in effective range and reduce their forgiveness and effectiveness against higher resilience. So, what are they doing? They are increasing the damage penalty on the Devil's Ruin laser beam, which when Checkmate first came out and we were talking to Lego, I was like, Devil's Ruin's great. It's really good in Checkmate because you have a fusion rifle right away. And like the sidearm was just good. So the Devil's Ruin laser beam is going from 10% to 15%. Minus 10% to 15%? I don't know. Fighting Lion, 0 to 20%. This is the increased damage penalty. So this is the penalty that's being applied.
So less damage. 20% less damage than it used to on the
20% less damage,
Okay.
yeah. And bows, 0 to 10%. That's great because, yeah, the first thing, like when I loaded in when it first came out, I was like, bows are a problem because they're still doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, you mentioned
And
that last week.
fighting lion, I was like, fighting lion could be a problem again because it's like a special weapon before anyone else has special ammo. Like it's going to be a problematic. They reduced the damage penalty on sidearms from 10% to 5%, so that's getting a buff. Submachine guns 5% to 0%, and scout rifles 10% to 9%.
Cheeky 1%.
Just a smidge.
I'm curious, like
It's a
what
smidge off the top.
what the
Just a-
quantification of that number is. You know, like
It's probably one shot, like faster to kill, right? It's like enough number to give it like
Just barely.
yeah.
Yeah. Increased bonus damage on auto rifles from 0 to 2%, and pulse rifles 0 to 5%. Pulse rifles might be feeling pretty good. And they
Get my
reduce the
DXR
damage.
back out, baby.
You know, so I watched Dado's video on his thoughts about Checkmate, and he was using bad juju because obviously, like, you regen your abilities slower, so he's using bad juju.
Uh-huh.
Maybe bad juju. Throw some of that on.
I told
I've
And
got
they've-
a soft spot for
Yes,
Juju. I just think that's such a cool gun.
It's
Yeah.
such a cool gun. It's so cool.
The way it looks, the way it sounds, like even like the chittering, like when you're
Yeah.
reloading it and stuff. Oh, so good.
It's such a good
So you're
one.
saying if that becomes oppressive in this game mode, you can blame Dado. Is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
hmm
Got it.
Yep.
Excellent idea.
It's
Won't be the
just
first
like-
time.
It's like in Sunday school, right? When the answer is always Jesus. If anyone ever asks in the Destiny community, why is something bad? You're always like, Dado. It's just Dado.
It's that. And then they're just reducing the bonus damage on hand cannons from 10% to 7%. So not a huge change, but enough to kind of make it fall in line with other weapons. And then they've corrected an issue that was allowing Vex Mythoclast to benefit from the bonus damage for special ammo fusion rifles.
That's funny.
So that's probably
Oh,
good.
Just
God.
Vex doing its thing.
Vex is always, yeah. It's always so good
It's
too.
exotics.
People just don't use it very much. Next we have the gunsmith focusing. So starting in season 23, Banshee will offer focusing options for select foundry weapons. Gunsmith focusing is designed to offer players a way to chase after their dream roll of older foundry weapons while reducing the ever-growing size of the legendary world pool. Oh, thank God. It's so
This
hard.
is
Like
huge.
it is huge because they add, for example, they added a sidearm this season to the world pool that's really good. I have not gotten one of those things.
Yeah.
And like, what do I do to get it? I just hope that it happens one day or he sells it.
Hopes and dreams.
That's the neat thing. You don't.
You don't- yeah. So what weapons will be available? These are going to be weapons released from season 16 to 19. So the last 4 seasons. These weapons will no longer be in the legendary world drop pool, and that you can only get them from gunsmith engrams and focusing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
When
you
I
can
first
still
read
you can still
that,
get them.
I was like, dang, that sucks because I never get gunsmith engrams. Like you check in every 3 weeks and you're like, he's like, yeah, I can give you one gun.
Yeah.
But then they go on and they're like buffing the ways that you can acquire these engrams, which is
God.
great.
Yeah. So there's a big
Okay.
list of Suros, Hake, Vice, and Omelon weapons. If you want the full list, I recommend going and checking out the TWAB. But they're just weapons from the last 4 years. And then in season 24, they're planning to update the list with season 20 weapons for existing foundries, as well as adding a new category for field forged weapons. Gunsmith focusing will also be replacing Banshee's 6-count weapon selection. So he has 2 weapon selections. And I guess whichever one is the 6th one. I don't know which page it is. First page, second page. I don't know.
He's got sort of like the daily rotating ones, and then he's got the
Mhm.
second page, which is the weekly ones.
Yes, yep. The following weapons will be moved out of the Whirlpool, and these will not be available from Gunsmith Engrams or Focusing, but will occasionally be available at Zur. And that's Contingency Plan, Legal Action, The Number, Memory, Interdict, Pleiades Corrector, the Deicide, the Vision, and Stochastic Variable.
But those are going to be like locked roles, like Zur usually has each week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think at this point they're assuming if you don't have a god roll of these things by now, it's because you don't care.
Sure.
Yeah. They're like, and Zur will sell a god roll one day and everyone will be excited about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So how will these weapons rotate? Banshee will offer 2 foundries at a time, for example, Suros and Hake. After each daily reset, one of these foundries will rotate out for another, effectively allowing each foundry to have a spotlight for 2 days in a row. And they actually give you the rotation schedule for season 23.
Yeah.
So it's Omelon and Suros, then it's Suros and Hake, then it's Hake and Vice, and then Vice and Omelon. And then it just repeats after the 4th day. Pretty cool.
Yep.
Forward planning.
We got a whole plan. You can plan your season 23.
There's some
Right
really
here.
good sidearms in there, folks.
There are.
Just saying. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, what
There
can
are.
you just tell me what I should be looking out for? What should I be looking out for?
where's the
Anything?
The
daily
Fiori
weekly-
Fioritura is very
The
good.
Fioritura for sure. And
The
if you
what?
don't have
The Fioritura.
you
Oh,
have to do this. You have to
59,
do
that
this.
one? All right.
Sorry,
And then-
Italians.
No,
Okay.
thanks. I had Italian yesterday. I'll pass.
And if you
I'm
don't have
half
a,
Italian. I'm going to let it be like that.
You should
if
see
you
me,
don't
Eliza
have a
P.
good boudica
What
yet,
is
you
it?
need to get a boudica.
Oh, yeah, the bodega.
What?
If you
Booty
do
killer?
not have a
Boudica.
sidearm, if you do
Boudica.
not- it's a precision
Boudica.
frame haka sidearm.
It's really good. There's an Obalon one, too, that's really good.
The
I mean, a lot
boudica
of
is
them are-
extremely
Oh,
good.
Boudica, really?
Yeah.
No
that's
doubt.
good.
So I know I'm like discount.
Yeah, but what
Lego.
mouse and keyboard? How's it feel
But,
mouse and keyboard? Because I'm trash with
trash.
sidearms.
It's feel awful on mouse and keyboard. I'm gonna be a roll to.
Plug in a controller, Mylan. What are you doing? It's Destiny.
If you're on controller, Boudica is gonna be amazing. Not a controller, Boudica is gonna be a liability.
Yeah, like there's only been some sidearms that I've really liked on mouse. I think it's
Which
just
ones
the
have
raid
you
one. What's the
liked?
raid? The raid
Oh.
Fire ones.
sidearm feels really good. That feels
The-
good.
the
And then
Michaels.
Like Michael? Michael's Reverence?
yeah,
That thing's
Michael
kinda hot.
You
and
like someone?
probably Drang, isn't it? I think Drang's still pretty good or was good.
I was always a big fan of Michael's Reverence, so when people started calling it the Glockenballs, I got like unrealistically upset about it. I was like, stop it! Respect
You
it!
stop that!
Respect it!
I
Oh,
have,
the
I have
Glockenballs?
the
Bite your tongue.
trials shit memento on it so that people are just like, oh, golden balls. Very nice. Next, we have how much will they cost to focus these engrams? You're going to need 3 gunsmith engrams and $5,000. Now remember, they're getting
Okay.
rid of legendary shards. So keep that in mind.
Mm.
How can I get gunsmith engrams? We are aware
You can't.
that we are aware that ranking up gunsmith reputation alone is not ideal. Yeah, no. I log in like maybe every 2 weeks I'll get like an engram. And I'm like, oh, this could be the sidearm. No, it's not. Okay. Well. So you're going to be able to get them from ranking up gunsmith reputation and then lost sector completions. Normal is going to give you a 20% chance. Legend, solo, and platinum is a 40% chance. And master, solo, and platinum is 60% chance. And then free roam chests have a 20% chance. Guys, I don't know about you, but I'm not solo platinuming a master lost sector for a 60% chance.
Yeah,
of
but
I don't-
free
Gunsmith
roam chests
engram.
have a 20% chance, so every 5 you open, you'll get one. That's
Dude, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna run around free roam chests.
I'm
Like,
not
Yeah.
gonna lie, like I read that and I was like, yo, it's kind of cool because I remember very clearly back in the day in D1 having farming routes for every
Mhm.
location,
Relic
cosmic
Yep.
iron
spin
and
metal in your
helium
chest.
filaments.
I remember those days so clearly, and like any way we can get back to that. I know that it's
Wait,
mindless.
what? You
I
want
know
to get
that
back
it's
to that?
I know that it's mindless.
No,
but some
please.
people
Well,
find it cathartic, and I would do
PV,
this.
it's gonna
I'd be like,
happen because you're
I'd
gonna
be-
have no glimmer because you're using it on everything. So you're
That's
gonna be like,
right.
oh,
That's
better go
true.
roam around.
I used to be like, I got 30 minutes before work. I can't do anything meaningful in this game.
No,
but I want to
it's
play
not
this
meaningful.
game.
It's not. It's so not.
So
productive.
like
You can
being
go
able to just
fishing.
like brainlessly unplug and do your
Farm
little
glimmer.
farming routes and grab some gunsmith engrams. I don't know. Part of me is
Farming
like, you
glimmer
know,
That
on-
sounds fun.
why
on Mars
not?
as well.
Yeah.
It's fine. Give it to him.
It's a great stream time.
Does
You
it
know,
hurt you?
you go around. It's basically just chatting, but in the background, you
Yeah.
might get your god roll
Sure.
weapon.
Yeah.
Sure. I
Exciting
am not a
times.
look. I want to know.
unconvinced Jay is.
I want to know who on the design team is so like we need to get people in lost sectors. How do we get people in lost sectors?
Man,
Like between
What
the
else can we put
exotics,
in there?
between how long were the exotics tied to lost sector completions? You know what
A
I mean?
long
Like
time.
3
No,
years.
long time. And now we
Long
have
time.
one other activity we can get exotics from, right?
Yep.
But now they're like putting this stuff into lost sectors, and it's like the
It's-
best chance.
it's not the only place though. In free roam
No, but it's
chests,
the highest percentage chance. Like it might be
Yeah,
the most
60%.
efficient. Who knows? Maybe.
Well, I
free
guess
roam
the good
chests.
news
you
is
open
that if
so
you
many free roam chests though. Like just
You open
running
like
around.
5, and then you have to go to a different area or whatever.
Yeah, but then you open another few. You know, like just running around playing the game. You just like run across these things and just open them, right?
Yeah.
So Jay's over here like, I don't want to play the game, dang it.
No, it's just the fact that a
kidding.
large chunk of this is tied to lost sectors again. Just I'm not a huge fan.
It
Yeah.
is a lot.
Yeah. The way that I'm kind of looking at it is like if you are doing those lost sectors for the new exotic, at least you might also get an anger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Well,
Sure.
and like I
Mm.
totally understand that as a game developer, sometimes it's like we have all of these things in our game, and we want to make them meaningful, you know. And especially with a looter shooter,
yeah.
like any
I
kind of a
understand.
looter, you have to go to a specific location to farm for a specific thing. So you just pick a day of the week. You're like, Tuesday is the day that I farm engrams for my gunsmith rolls because I know that on Wednesday the Vice thing is going to come up and I can focus them there. You know what I mean? So part of me totally understands it.
I
And
hear you on
I
that.
There's a
feel
part of me
like
that understands what
sectors
you're saying
are-
too, but
Lost sectors are just not a meaningful activity to me.
I'll be honest with you. I'd rather run loops around and
Oh,
get free
100%.
roam chests
Yes.
than go to do lost sectors again. 'Cause I am
100%.
Yes, same.
done with lost sectors.
You know what would have been nice if this wasn't solo and then you could just go with your buds and farm some engrams when you
Well, you
don't have
can in
time to
normal
like do
mode.
something else. You can, but it's 20%, so
yeah,
you might
she
as
might as
well
well
go
just
do free roams.
Yeah, free roam
Yes.
chests.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
do 15 of them to get one reroll engram.
And you need 3 engrams. So
That's what I
Yeah,
mean. You gotta do
right, yeah.
at least 5 statistically to get
Oh.
one
Yes.
engram.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a
Quick
lot.
math.
you're right.
Just every time you
Just
see a
one step
chest,
ahead.
you're gonna want to open it up from here on out.
Yeah.
Like just
Yep.
open
Put on
that chest.
put on the
Um,
ghost. What is it? The ghost aspect, right? The
Yeah.
the mod or whatever.
Yep.
How do you guys feel about like I like the timed stuff? I mean, if it was like guaranteed, like if there was if you speed run this, you beat this time, guaranteed to give you an engram to like give you a goal of just making sure you have the ultimate build on, and you learn everything about the lost sector, you just blast through it, and you're guaranteed to get an engram if you know like a time trial kind of deal.
Sure.
You like that or not?
I'm not opposed to it.
Does that make it better
hear
or
you.
not?
I hear you, but I'm just thinking from like TV was talking about the game designer perspective, like that really shuts out a large percentage of like the player base who can't make that happen.
The play base what?
But they can always take the easier
just
route
an
for lower
extra.
chances. Yeah, it's just
Sure.
adding an
Yeah.
extra option.
I'm not trying to like, poop on elite players or anything like that. I'm just consideration of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think generally I feel like if you're adding like what Bungie did with the Necrochasm stuff, you have a way for you to grind it, or if you get lucky, you just get the gun and all the catalysts. So I'm always like, sure, why not? When it's just an extra thing. So you have a 60% chance if you're doing solo legend Lost Sector, but if you do it X amount of fast, then you get it 100%.
Now let's do what Magician says. Gunsmith SRL. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Making
Can
a
we
race.
just accept that SRL is never coming back?
Oh,
I
no.
feel like
People
People
know
said
that.
that about Cade, Briar. People said that about Cade.
with SRL, I always feel like
True.
Mugatu. Like I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Like I always, I always see people who are like, "Oh, SRL is so good," and I'm like, I played so many racing games. SRL was not good.
No.
Like I liked the. I do
was
a few
different. It was
races,
different.
and
It
it was
felt
kind of
different.
cool.
It
but
was
to be
different
like,
than good?
Oh, give
Yeah,
us
you're right.
SRL. I was like, bro, it wasn't even that great. We just, I don't know.
No, I agree
I
with
You know
think it needs
what?
to be like Mario
SPMM in SRL. That's what killed it for me. Great. I have to sweat my ass
Yeah,
off in
true.
SRL, this
Yeah.
party mode. Cool.
Man.
Great.
Oh man.
Thanks.
Everybody here's making new world records. Great. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh, God. That's the
What
12.
else we got? Anything?
That's
SRL,
it.
That's a 12?
like, to be fair, like, as soon as like the game came out, and like we're all like, "Oh, these sparrows are so fun to drive. It'd be cool if we could race them." You know,
Yeah.
but what we like, at least what I had pictured was just give us a course around this patrol zone, and like, you know, put some like checkpoints around this patrol zone.
Sure.
But to add a whole game mode, it was like, oh, now this is okay. You have turned this from something that is like a novelty into like a new game mode, but it's not good enough to be like a racing game.
That's right.
You know, like, so it's
Yeah.
If they had just added like a patrol type that was like, here's some checkpoints, get through them as fast as you can. If you do it under a minute, then you won.
So what if it's a public event?
Yeah, like a public event. Yeah.
Drop a
Hey,
race
didn't
track.
they have
Yeah.
that? I swear they had that at some point.
Or like
Maybe.
let people load up checkpoints on dungeons and let people just that way they can run. Be like, oh, I want to practice running the sparrow part of
Yeah.
Why am I spacing out on the name of this dungeon? Avarice, Grasp of Avarice. Thank you, whoever just put that
Oh,
in my head
that's so good.
telepathically.
That's
Yeah, being able to load that up, just practice that. Hey, why not?
To make a good racing game, you have to make a racing game. And Bungie's
You
like
couldn't-
making
you
a
couldn't
shooter.
draft,
You know?
Yeah.
Like, so
you
it's-
could do all the essential things that you do in a racing game. You couldn't do it in SRL.
Yeah.
Two things. I would agree with you to a point. I think one of the best things that made SRL so fun was like when Goth and Broman and them did the SRL Racing League.
Oh, that was
Or so-
brilliant.
Yeah.
That
That
was
was great.
brilliant. But that was an event outside of Destiny that they
Yeah,
made
you were
amazing
Yeah. Yeah.
because of their presentation, right? Like
Right.
they
That's
had a
exactly
great
right.
time like putting this all together, and they made it very entertaining with the
Big
announcements and like the
personalities
brackets. Yeah, but the actual game mode itself, I'm sorry, it was a very stripped down racing game that didn't really work that good.
You don't play Destiny anymore. you're
Agreed.
Second thing, bring back Sparrow Horns, thanks.
No,
Oh,
God, those are
that's
so
never
annoying.
happening.
Meet. No?
No.
No,
I just think you need-
I
you
can
need-
get down with that.
Yeah, I like Torch.
You need power ups. You need to be driving over
Mario Kart?
a mystery
Where's
box
my
like
red
Mario
shell?
Kart pulling out a Gallahorn.
Yeah.
Cracking rockets.
Rocket Race from Halo.
Honestly, if they
You
made it a
know?
little
Yeah,
more Mario
yeah.
Kart, that might suit it better because that'd make it like a little less competitive. Like a little more.
Can you imagine
random.
firing a rocket launcher while flying through a sparrow? Just like
Yeah.
watching them blow up. That'd be
I don't
fun.
Oh man.
It's the last thing I want from Destiny 2, honestly. It's SRL.
What is the thing that would bring you back to play again, Briar?
Honestly, I'm the only reason I haven't jumped back this week to play the new Crucible mode in Crucible Labs. What's it called again? It's called
Checkmate.
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 Is just the servers have been down, and I just have like my life is fucking crazy right now. So it's very hard for me to find time to play video games.
Yeah, if the
Yeah.
server's not
I
up
hear
when you
that.
have the time to play, then it's like,
But
well, I
I'm
guess
very
I'm not
much looking
playing
forward to
today.
playing some Checkmate because that game mode sounds like right up my alley. I can't wait to jump in.
Play it before it goes into Rumble. So you
Briar,
get to
let me
experience
Yeah.
control checkmate.
ask you a question, Briar.
Yeah.
How likely would you be to spend more than your current average amount of time in Destiny if Destiny were to have a sequel? If Destiny 3 launched, if there was a hard reset of some kind,
It's like a
where
95%
we-
chance.
Yeah.
Because you're talking like all new content at that point, right? There's new strikes.
Briar
there's
likes
new...
the big drops.
I do like the
all
big
new
drops. Like
He likes the big drops.
I like to get into the strike playlist and play a strike that is 6 years old at this point is like mind numbing to me. You know, or to play even a Crucible map that is 6 years old at this point is
Or
like
9 years old.
I totally
Yeah.
agree with you, Briar. Like I'm kind of to that point with Destiny. As much as I love Destiny, don't get me wrong, I love Destiny, but I'm kind of at that point too where it's like a new weapon I can craft. I've crafted so many.
Yeah.
There's so many. It's like we're just kind of reinventing the wheel every time.
And it's the same weapon I've been
And-
playing with for 6 years. It's just like a small difference
Yeah.
in stats, you know.
Instead of 16 range, it's 18. But
Yeah.
instead of 32 stability, it's 30. So, you know what I mean? We're just fudging the numbers here and there at this point. And I just I'm ready for something that's super fresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too.
But would it be different enough from what you currently got? Because
I was off of Destiny 1 for the last 6 months of Destiny 1's life, and that was only a 3-year game, right? But the last 6 months of Destiny 1's life, I was completely playing Player Unknowns and, you know, like a bunch of other games. And then we got Destiny 2, and I came back hard. Like year one of Destiny 2, I was not one of the people saying this game sucks. I was loving it. And then, you know, I stayed with it until basically the current seasonal model dropped, and I was like, this is not hitting it for me.
Yeah.
Because I mean, isn't just like a new IP from Bungie going to fill the same role as a Destiny? I mean, if it was a looter shooter, do you know?
Briar might
why does
love
it have to be in the
Marathon,
Destiny
to be
universe?
honest.
Marathon seems like it's going to be right up my alley, honestly.
I was gonna say it feels like, you know, Destiny is gonna keep going for a long time. We know that at this point. But
Yeah.
if they came out with a spin-off that came out parallel, similar to like an ODST, how they did that, like a different experience in the same
true.
world, but like parallel, like not taking over Destiny,
Yeah.
but kind of being parallel to, it's like, okay, well, I want to stay. I love this universe. I love the characters, all that
Right.
stuff. But I just want kind of a different experience in this world. I think,
Mhm.
you know, a spin-off kind of game would be fun.
I'm telling you, like the Destiny universe is so versatile. You could
Oh,
do
yeah.
so many things with it. You
Mhm.
could do an RPG where character creation, you're like, what am I gonna be?
Do an RPG.
Am I gonna be a fallen captain? You know what I mean? And live into that fantasy, have 4 arms and blades that I can run around with. Do I want to be a Hive Knight? You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And same thing with like, and I know people will crucify me for even bringing it up. Because I'm not a huge BR fan in general. But you could even have a Destiny Battle Royale where you're like, I'm going to be a Kel running around this big map or a Hive Knight of some kind. You know,
Well, I think that's Marathon pretty much.
you have so many races.
Really.
You've got so
I
much
wish
deep
that
lore.
Marathon was a Destiny game, honestly. That'd be awesome.
Like the Destiny world is ripe for different genres of games than just an MMO looter shooter that we have with Destiny. And I would love to see them expand on that.
You know,
I think
with Halo, they did so much. They had like a strategy game. They had the books. You know, they had
Halo Wars.
Yeah, they had a
They
comic
had
book.
2 Halo Wars games.
Yeah, they had a
Yeah,
comic
true.
book.
We've got comic books. We've got Grim. We've got anthologies, bro. Have you not read volumes 1, 2, and 3?
I watched Aztecs Cross do like a synopsis.
Oh.
Yeah.
wrote
I
those,
tune in
man?
every
Why do you
week.
hurt me like
Who
this?
worked on
I
those?
tune in every week to
Yeah.
Ask Across's lore videos. I know everything I need to know.
True. True. You know what I'll say about Destiny and Bungie and just first person shooters, going to something like Cyberpunk, where I don't think they're known for a first person shooter, and just how slick Destiny is. Like you go between like Cyberpunk, and I still think it's a great game, but you can't run, slide, and go into a melee, and you know it's just so much more clunky compared to something like Destiny. I think that's just what excites me about Marathon. It's just actually having a new IP made by the same company because
Yeah.
of how good that gunplay feels.
Oh, good.
You know, whether you like the game or not, like it's going to be worth checking out.
I think I've been thinking about this recently too. So I think there's a missed opportunity with the Destiny content file. Like, I really think they should just be adding the oldest stuff into there. And I think it should be across the board so that when the new stuff comes, your chances of playing it are much higher. Because I cannot stand when we get like a new map in the Crucible and I play Crucible for 2 hours and I never see it once. Or we get new strikes and I play the strike playlist for an hour and I never see it once. Or I'm playing like the new content and it's like, okay, stop playing the new content so you can go run this old content to earn this number of coins or stars or crystals or whatever, so you can earn your way back to start playing the new stuff. Like, let me play the new stuff. That's what I'm here for. I don't know.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
I was so unlucky with the new map in D2.
Took me a long time.
It took me 3 play sessions and a little over 9 hours to see it
Oh,
once.
Lord.
Yeah.
I had planned on making a video where I reviewed that map. And I had the thumbnail made, the title was made. Was it worth the wait, you know? And I never got it. It took me 3 play sessions and 9 hours before I saw the map a single time. I was very unlucky. And I know that was, some people are like, oh, I loaded it up and it was the first map I played. I'm like, oh, that's great. That makes me feel so much better about my experience.
Banned.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah.
Banned.
Yeah. Anyways. But I never made that video because my luck was so bad. So I totally feel you on that, Brian. And I think that's also one of the problems with this whole, like, we'll have one new map every
Yeah.
6 months. That
6
whole
months.
plan just doesn't work. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm being generous, Brian.
When they come out with new maps too, is I would like a playlist of here's the new maps. You
I
can
would
just play
love that.
these, you know?
And you know what? If you couldn't afford to buy them, it's like, man, that sucks. But I'm gonna go play them because I bought them.
Did they do
Adios,
that with
poppers!
Halo? Did they do that with Halo, or did they just have the map voting
Yes.
system so it felt like
Yes, Halo literally had
That's what I
playlists for the
thought.
new maps.
Yeah.
Right.
Call of
Every
Duty
time.
does that too.
And,
Yeah, Call of
um,
Duty did. You could
and it
never go with
wasn't-
freaking matchmaking. It's too sweaty.
and it wasn't permanent. It was just like, hey, I want to play the new maps.
Yeah,
You know, have
yeah,
it
you
around
gotta
for a
learn
week
'em.
or two.
Yeah.
I want to learn
That was
them,
really
play them
nice.
a bunch, and you wanted to feel that immediate gratification for your purchase, right? I
Yeah.
purchased this playlist. I want to play these maps. I want to know what there's like. And that wasn't just a Halo thing or just a Call of Duty thing. Even Battlefield did that. With Battlefield 3 dropped brand new map packs. You know, you had a separate playlist and all these servers that you could play on where you would just experience those maps, get to know them and enjoy them with other people who played them too, who bought them too. So I totally feel you on that, Briar. Sometimes it's like, man, I just want instead of having new content that's just kind of lightly sprinkled throughout the years. Sometimes I just want, like, here's a dump of content,
Yeah.
and I want
me
you to
dig
play
in.
it and love.
Dump
I
it
wanna-
on me.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, I like, I'm like your kid. I like to get invested, right? Is I like
Yeah.
to just like my life is now about this thing for the
I
next
want
2
to-
weeks.
Fixate on it
Yeah.
for days.
But that's not
Yeah.
what the seasonal model lets me do. It's really
Yeah.
Yep.
Sprinkling, and even that sprinkling is like, it's like you come and you can play for a little bit, but then you go do the strike playlist and then come back. Like, I don't want to do
I'm
that.
very curious to see what their new model will feel like to
Me
you,
too.
Briar. Very, very curious.
I hope it kind of brings me back, honestly, because I'm looking at the final shape like that's probably the end of my Destiny journey.
I think a lot of people are doing that because it's like I think there's a lot of people who have been wanting to hop off the train for a while now, and this is like a great final location to hop off the train.
Capstone, yeah.
Yeah.
What are we rebranding? What's the Destiny Community Podcast going to be called post Final Shape?
Bunch of people get together and be dumb on the internet and talk about stuff.
It's the twin, but this week in Bungie.
Ex-Destiny.
I think there are a lot of people who think like me on that one, like in that regard. And I hope that Bungie knows that too. And I'm sure they do, right? They must know.
I think I do.
The
Yeah,
end
I'm
of this
sure.
10-year cycle, like is coming to a close. How do we hook people back so they come back? Because how many people are just like staring at the final shape? Like, I'm looking to see how the end of the Light and Dark saga goes, because I've been, kind of hooked up. Like, I kind of been curious about this for the last 10 years. Like, but what, we know there's not a Destiny 3 coming, so like, what hooks people in
absolutely,
next?
I
Briar.
think the announcement of the end of the Light versus Dark saga was a double-edged sword, because part of it was, okay, people made the commitment, I'm going to stay until then, but the flip side of that is I'm staying till then and probably closing the chapter of being a Destiny gamer and go back to enjoying playing video games.
You're absolutely right, because if what comes after the Light versus Dark saga is just a different iteration of the seasonal model, which is what this chapter's, you can call it something different, right? But it's just a different iteration of the seasonal model as far as what we've heard so far. Listen, gaming didn't cease to innovate while Destiny continued to be Destiny.
No.
Over the last 10 years, while Destiny continued to be Destiny, the gaming industry kept pushing boundaries, kept growing, kept, innovating in different ways. And so how long, this is a great question, is how long is the Destiny gamer going to stay committed to the status quo? I don't know. I really don't know. Because there's a lot of people out there, like Briar's talking about.
Them in the last 10 years. No one has come close to challenging
How long can they
Destiny
How long can they ride gameplay alone? Like the feel of their gameplay is exceptional. That's why it's like, the reason that I want to challenge Bungie is because I know how good they are. You know what I mean? It's like having a kid that you see talent in, and they're not using it to their fullest potential. Because I understand what Bungie's capable of. They make some of the greatest feeling games in the history of my life as a gamer. Going back to my middle school years, I want to see them continue to push those boundaries. And it's like, why stop there, Bungie? Why just be the best at this live service, first-person shooter genre, when I know that you could push those boundaries in different genres and you can go to places people have never been before? That's what I want from them. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Marathon is like a AAA entry into a pretty niche game mode, really, in the sense of extraction shooters. I mean, a lot of Destiny community didn't even know what an extraction shooter was when it was announced. Like, a lot of my community were like, what's an extraction shooter? Like, I've never heard of this before. And ironically, things like Escape from Tarkov I actually put in a similar category to like Destiny, like really dedicated niche fan bases. And it'd be interesting to see if they push that genre forward, because there's been a lot of failures when it comes to extraction shooters. My next video goes into like the DMZ Warzone. Do you remember Battlefield had like a hard hazard zone? Fucking nobody played. The Cycle Frontier closed down. Like, the only remaining extraction shooters that have had any momentum is Escape from Tarkov and The Hunt.
Warzone is still
maybe
going,
Dark and Darker.
Warzone still has a lot big player base, doesn't it? Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone?
I don't know. I think DMZ was a bit of a flash in the pan. Like, I had a lot of fun with it, but it was a game mode within a larger game. It wasn't a dedicated, this is what we do is an extraction shooter. Like, I think people had a bit of a laugh with DMZ. I definitely did, but I don't know how populated that is still. I don't think that's, it'd be interesting to see how Bungie has a PvP only game, what they do with that genre, what they add to it, and how they continue to support it.
And how long it'll take Fortnite to steal all their ideas.
I love you, Brian.
I don't know. Marathon to me is not a home run, like sitting there waiting, right? It's definitely risky.
I mean, it is hard. It's hard to sell it as a home run. Like, I like it, but I also acknowledge it is a really incredibly niche gaming area that does have a dedicated player base, but they can't do the same as that. And I also don't think there's a lot of crossover between Destiny players and like I don't think marathons for Destiny players.
No,
they're the
it's
complete
not.
opposite ends of video games. It's
No,
like
no,
it's
a
like
lot
someone
of
who
Destiny
likes
players went to like PUBG and to
Apex and stuff.
Apex. Like a lot of them did. So I could see people. It's got that Bungie. If it's got that Bungie feel, and that's also a question mark in my mind, because like,
Right.
are the
Yeah.
people who design the feel of Destiny the same people who are designing the feel of Marathon? I don't know if it is. You know, it's the same name on the
well,
company,
there's some
but
leadership that we know that's definitely gone across from
I think they're
PvP.
the only I've heard of like PvP guys and art guys, but in terms of like gameplay feel, that wouldn't be the PvP guys or the art guys. That would be sandbox guys. And we know
Right.
that like Josh Hamrick isn't there anymore. John Wisniewski's not there anymore. They're working on their own PvP game, which I'm excited about
They
too.
took Claude with him too, right? Claude went.
Claude, he's also on that same team who was a part of the sandbox.
Which, if you liked what new abilities Forsaken brought to the table, that was Claude.
It was, yeah.
To put that into
Yeah.
perspective.
So,
So,
I'm excited for what
I-
those guys are making too.
what are they making?
I mean, I
They're
hope
making a
they
shooter.
do what. I hope they do with extraction shooters what they did for looting shooters. You know, like before Destiny, what were you playing for a first-person looting shooter? It was like Borderlands, right?
That's
And they
basically
kind of
it,
took
right?
that and just blew it up to something completely different
Yeah.
with raids and dungeons and all this other kind of aspects they added to the genre. And now it's just in a world of its own when it comes to online cooperative MMO light loot and shooter. And I'm really interested to see if they apply that same mindset to the extraction genre. And it's not just an extraction game, but they put the the Bungie polish on it and
Mhm.
give you something
Yeah.
truly unique.
Yeah,
I
don't
think
get me wrong.
ultimately. No, go
Go
ahead.
I was just gonna say, real quick comment. Let's say, don't get me wrong, Bungie is like cream of the crop when it comes to developers. That's why I have
Yeah.
high expectations for them. It's because they earned the right to have that expectation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which is both a blessing and a curse. It means that your reputation
It is,
precedes
yeah.
you, but it also means that you got to deliver on it consistently.
Yeah, I think so what people always expect, and I think people do expect now, that Bungie's gonna push the genre that they go into. They're gonna do like with Halo, they were doing online PvP. Like no one was really doing that before then.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with Destiny, it's like the online looter shooter, they're the only ones doing it. So I think that we are all expecting for them to make an extraction shooter and not just make a Bungie extraction shooter, but to kind of push the envelope a little bit and introduce something new and fresh that's going to make it be that hit the market where it's not just a niche
Well-
game, but there's also the niche gamers that are excited about Marathon, but there's also the people who are like, I just really like shooters and this is great.
And it'll be interesting to see how they apply all the lessons of like the seasonal model. Like if you
Yeah.
think about how impressive it is, even though everyone gives them shit, how much actual content Bungie pushes out
It is
regularly.
crazy.
And you do not get that in, Escape from Tarkov's been an alpha, beta, whatever for years. And
Yeah.
people still play it, and there's very little new content being added. You might get a map every now and then, and there's a really big build up to getting something like a new map or
Right.
even new weapons and new things. It's like, is Bungie going to have this a similar like frantic pace with seasons and new content in something like Extraction? Because that would push the envelope altogether anyway, because everything else is not at that level of a AAA. They're a much
Yeah.
smaller companies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. Well, even large companies don't often have the same pace that Bungie.
Oh yeah, like
Has.
Apex,
Well, Apex. I'm playing Starfield right now. It's like, listen, Bethesda is one of those companies that's like once every 12 years, they're like, here's a banger. We're gonna go in our cave, and you're not gonna hear from us. You're not gonna see us. You're not gonna speak to us until you are in your next decade of your life. All right. You're gonna have kids. You're gonna have 2 degrees you don't use, and 12 new hobbies by the next time you hear from us again. You know what I mean? So you do have to sort of respect Bungie for the pace that they've had. It is honestly, it's like, dang, you guys been grinding. Whether it's hits or misses, at least we only have to wait a few months to see whether or not it's a hit or a
That is
miss.
true.
Yeah. Chat's talking about whether PvP games don't really like need those constant updates, and I guess that's what I'm saying is like we're
Balance is
definitely
tough.
used to PvP games having a sandbox and then just being really responsive to updating the sandbox, right? And then, every 6 months or a year, you get a new map or you get something big. If you look at Fortnite, I mean, Fortnite does
But those
seasons
maps
and
are
they
fucking
actually,
huge, though, right? Like compared
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
For VR
Yeah,
games,
that
an
is
arena
fair.
shooter map, like they're like I don't know,
yeah,
20 times
Yeah.
the size.
yeah, yeah. So it will be interesting to see, like, what kind of are they going to put a lot more effort into being responsive to the sandbox
We're gonna
and
have to.
take lessons from the PvP strike team and make sure they manage that really well whilst developing whatever's news on the side and whatever is keeping you interested each season. I just don't think Bungie's going to reject some of the knowledge they've got from the seasonal model. That's why Sony bought them, for their
Yeah.
experience in those and keeping people playing every season. And you got to put content in a season,
Yeah, but Marathon, I think, is also going to hit a different kind of audience. And
Yeah.
when I say this, I don't mean it as an insult. But the kinds of people that really gravitate towards those kinds of games are like they love to flex. You know what I mean? They like to be showy
Oh
and
yeah.
flashy.
That's neat.
It's all about getting the chicken dinner, all that kind of stuff. So I think that kind of we've seen this with Fortnite, we've seen this with Apex. When the kind of content that you put out is going to shift, right? Then the stuff that we see with Destiny, it's gonna be skins for your guns and for your character and all that kind of stuff. Those things that you can flex and be flashy because you're dropping an emote on a guy after you drop him for the win. You know what I mean? It's a different
Yeah.
sort of a culture, and I think that honestly, it's kind of smart on Bungie's part. There's a lot of I hate to put it in these terms because I feel like it cheapens the development, and I don't mean to do that. But there's a lot of money in that kind of a game, in that kind of culture. The people that want to flex, they're willing to drop the
Oh
coin
man,
to
I mean,
do it.
Bungie has so much experience with making cool fucking emotes and armor
Oh
and
yeah,
ornaments.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
can you
Yes.
imagine like all the effort going into that?
they're
Like,
poised.
okay, like we
they're
don't need to have a new
positioned
map
for
every whatever.
success.
We have
No,
a
yeah.
great sandbox and
Yeah.
we have cool skins and armor and whatever each time that you can show your flair. And I mean that's what a lot of PvP players chase, like you say. So
I mean,
You
if
know.
you look at League of Legends, like they don't have new maps either, right? Because it's very similar to kind of a BR thing. But when they release a new skin line, people are like, "Ooh, I want to get on and get the new skin and like
Yeah.
play the game with my new skin." Like, I know a lot of people
Yeah.
maybe think, "Oh, you're getting excited about a skin," but a lot of players do it, and it
Mhm.
switches up the thing that you're doing all the time. That's the same, and makes it feel a little different and gets you excited to kind of jump into playing the game again.
To me, that it
I
takes away
think-
so much of the hate I have for the Eververse too. When it's not a loot, like half of the point of the game is to collect loot, and then they're
Yeah.
selling all the best loot in the Eververse. When the game
Yeah.
is like the point of the game is an extraction shooter,
Kill.
like that doesn't.
Kill the guy, get the win. Right?
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
not. It does not bother me in the same way.
True.
That's
Like
right.
it was Street Fighter. I buy
Yeah.
shit in Street Fighter all the time, and I have
Yeah,
no
that's
problem
exactly
with it.
right. Like,
It is,
oh,
yeah.
this
Very
good for
different.
Kimmy's doom, baby.
I think to Bungie's credit, we're talking about how versatile they're going to be and how, able they're to iterate and things like that. I think creating a new game will simplify stuff down for them because they don't have to balance 1,000 weapons or, you know what I mean? So if they
Yes.
drop like one or two things like regularly, it's going to feel like a lot more than we get in PvP now. However, it's going to be less development for them, less balancing and all that stuff. So I think it's going to be able to keep them more nimble and keeping
Hope so.
players happy than
Yeah.
like Destiny because it's just I can't imagine how impossible it is to try to think about balancing everything for PvP the way that's
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, and like
Yeah.
Destiny seems like a
Ridiculous.
nightmare game to
Yes,
work on all
100%.
sides of everything.
True.
Yeah,
But for
that's-
Marathon, they will have to do updates like every 2 weeks. So I hope they're ready for for that.
Yeah, Destiny's
Something's
the kind of
impressive.
game. Destiny's the kind of game where, as a content creator, they're like, I have a list of things I want to complain about this week, and the second they reach out, they're like, "Hey, you want to come and help us fix those things?" We're like, "No,
No.
Yeah.
absolutely not."
Yeah.
I was having a think about like how quick Bungie's going to have to respond to like sandbox changes because we've been playing another game at the moment called Dark and Darker, and it's in the extraction genre, and those devs are really quick. And the reason for it is it's like extraction games are like Trials of Osiris. If you're going to get the as the cross go, this is broken, and everyone will use the meta immediately because that's how you get ahead, right? And if the meta's broken for too long and you get people building up their stashes, it just kind of snowballs and it really quickly ruins the game. So it's quite literally like a bug with the crafting. Something's completely broken and you have a competitive environment. Everyone will start using it immediately and it destroys the game. So I do think that Bungie's going to focus on that, like, immediacy with making changes to the sandbox. Otherwise, extraction shooters are kind of like really awful for that because you turn them off straight away. As soon as it's like, can you imagine like the gun bug? You take all your good loot in and you discover dudes are shooting like AR shotguns. You're like, okay, cool.
Oh yeah.
I'm not playing the game.
The first
right now
hint of cheating, people are like, well, I mean, I'm not gonna spend an hour in game and then get killed by a cheater. Or even a suspected cheater. Like once you know there are cheaters in the game, then you figure that everybody who killed you is a cheater or a possible cheater, and then like the whole gameplay experience is compromised.
The Cycle Frontier blamed cheaters on them basically closing the servers down, and there was an issue, but I mean they had more issues than that. I think it wasn't just cheaters, but it was a free to play game, and cheaters got on there very quickly. Because it's like, once again, it's like Trials. When you have a high stake mode, it encourages a secondary market of selling carries or selling items or, influencing the market in the game.
Is Marathon free to play?
I don't think it will be.
I
don't think
have
it's announced.
They haven't announced it yet.
I think it kind of has to be.
Yeah, I mean, for
really?
a game like
I don't
about
think it will
Apex and Fortnite and all that, they're gonna have like a seasons pass or whatever. 100%. It's gonna be like $10.
Maybe it'll be free to try, like Destiny is, and then it'll be paid season.
Is it gonna be free only on Sony platform?
Don't give them ideas.
I honestly hope it's not free to play. I think if it's free to play, the cheating issue is going to be way higher.
I think if it's not free to play, it's dead on arrival.
Yeah, I agree.
Like every game that comes out that's like that is free to play. And I think for them to compete in a niche genre, they're going to have to get people just to try it.
I mean, Call of Duty did it with their BR, right?
Yeah, they did.
Call of Duty, who charges for everything.
Dude, they still charge $60 for like 5 or 6 year old games.
And a 5-hour experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they charge like a buttload for this season, right? Wasn't the season like the same as a full price game or something ridiculous?
Probably. But you can at least you can at least play it for a while and decide if you even like it.
I'll say I think it was near $1 billion was what Fortnite made on just that. Which skin was it? It was like
a ninja skin or something.
It was one of the it wasn't the ninja skin. Was it the Black Knight or something like that? There was like the first like skin that blew up on their platform that made them almost $1 billion. I think it's like, holy cow!
It's crazy.
Rockstar employed so many people and developed GTA 5 for so many years to make $1 billion on their full game, in the first month. Yeah. And then here's Fortnite's like, hey, we dropped a new skin. $1 billion.
It took 5 hours to develop the skin. Yeah,
those assholes just laid off like 900 people too. Can you believe it? Made $1 billion on the skin, and they're laying off like 17% of their workforce.
Oh, somebody said John Wick. That would make sense.
Was that what it was?
Might have been.
But it's like, it's crazy. So to Watts' point, like, I think it's like you got to launch free to play, but because that's not where the money is in that culture of games. That's not where the money is your upfront price to get access to the game. It's like, give everybody access, get them hooked, make them pay for the flex, make your money.
Yeah, I mean, like, kids make fun of other players that have like the standard skin, right?
Yes, dude, you're so right. My son played Roblox the other day. He was like, "Oh, this guy's a bacon hair." I'm like, "What the heck is a bacon hair?" He's like, "Oh, it's a default skin when you just have." The hair looks like bacon. They call it bacon skin. I'm like, you just roasted that kid for not
being poor.
Well, and that's how the games
bacon kids.
Well, that's how the games make a ton of money, is because kids are roasting on each other. And so they're like, well, I got to spend $10 to get this skin. Yeah. Dad, I want Roblox money for my birthday. Please,
I can't be a bacon hair, Dad.
True. Yeah, I mean, Bungie has a lot of experience with microtransactions and selling stuff in the store, and they obviously know how much they get from Destiny. So, yeah, you kind of can.
Yeah.
I just looked at it from the perspective of cheaters and looking at what happened with Trials. They literally walked back Trials to have the most current expansion to play Trials. And I was thinking, well, they learned their lesson there when they had free to play. So they're gonna have to be pretty confident in their anti-cheat, because cheaters will also destroy the game.
Yeah, cheaters would destroy an extraction shooter more than like any other.
Oh,
Any other game.
that's
I know,
yeah.
this is killing me.
my dad's always asking for
My dad is always asking for Robux.
Get a job, Dad.
I picture some 95-year-old man like, son, can I have some Robux, please?"
You guys want to do some Twitter questions?
Yeah.
All right. Three Bros,
That's
One
great.
Controller podcast says, hello, crew. Would you have done differently in the D&D? What would you have done differently in the D&D quest? It was amazing, by the way. Good job. People really like that. I think we have
Thank
to
you.
plan another one of those.
Is it
I
up on the
would
I
channel
really
yet?
like it.
I would
Yes,
have
it's on
not-
YouTube,
On the YouTube
and
channel.
on our podcast.
I would have
haven't
not rolled a
responded.
critical fail for my first 2 rolls in my ever
Like
history
9
of
out of
D&D. I was like, oh, I'm excited. I've never played D&D before.
1.
2 critical fails. Golly.
I would say I think Mylan took a good route here. He made it more like what's entertaining. Like thinking about my first D&D experience, it would have been nice to have done it like, privately with a group to like really kind of get up to speed. But being put in front of an audience, it has a completely different like
Yeah, true.
priority, right? Like realistically,
Yeah,
I should have
sure.
been more focused on like what makes it fun and entertaining versus like
Yeah.
keeping the team alive or whatever, right? Like, so I thought Mylan really did a good job of just be like, no, I'm coming in, we're going, like just making it ridiculous and silly.
I've wasted my super in the first 2 minutes.
Dude,
I never
Mylan
got
came
it
in
back.
hot.
It's great.
I have
it's
no
fun.
regrets. I played exactly how I wanted to.
Yeah, I don't really have
Yeah, he
any
murdered me.
regrets.
He's no regrets.
No regrets.
It was great.
Yeah, people seem to really like that. I think we got to plan another one. The Dungeon Masters have been kind enough to offer their services again.
They were really fun to work with.
Yeah.
They were incredible.
I mean, it was
Yeah.
great. We just rolled in, really. Rolled in.
We just
talked
rolled
shit
in.
for 2 hours.
But
Yeah.
what they did that was so good is that, as you said, so many of us have not played D&D before or very little. And they enabled us to not have to read through an entire book to play. They really made
Yeah.
it to where we could show up and through
Yeah.
the whole thing, they told us what to do. Like, what should you be looking at on your sheet? So you're not
That's
sitting there going, and feeling
Constant
awkward.
reminders. Constant
Yeah.
reminders.
That's
Great.
really important. Yeah.
I really appreciate the education they gave us, because then I was able to understand that video that blew up on social media like days after. Where the guy who doing the roll for perception check, I think that's what it was called.
Yep.
That was freaking hilarious.
With his little flute.
Yeah.
Yep.
Playing the flute while I loot this dead kid's body. Yeah, that one. Me and my wife sing that together all the time. My kids are really tired of it.
USMC
Oh,
Shop
Tom
Beer
Cardi,
says,
yeah.
was Miss 5000 Watts a hunter or a titan during D&D? Seemed like she kept trying to throw the arc
Yes.
staff as a titan. Not sure.
Mhm. I was a hunter. Yep, that's right. But the actual thing was, so in the Dungeons and Destiny playbook that they've kind of set out, Strand doesn't exist yet. So I wanted to be a Strand hunter, and like, well, Strand doesn't exist. So I was like, I guess I could be Arc. That's pretty close. And then we're like, actually, wouldn't it be really funny or funnier for me to be a Titan that, because I don't like Titans, stuck and who wanted to be a hunter. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what we went with, is that no, I'm not a Titan. I'm a hunter. That's what we went.
Definitely not.
And Watts was so good at role playing, completely threw me and the dungeon master like, did she know?
Like, what is she looking at?
I will give Seb's credit. I think my biggest takeaway from that whole experience was like, I was like, man, it takes a lot of talent to be a good DM.
Oh yeah.
Like, you have to be
Yeah.
so adaptable and have like contingency plans for your contingency plans, because people
Yeah.
can F up your story in
Yeah.
one decision.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta be prepared for players to thunder crash stuff and then like destroy an entire plot
Right.
line and then be like, okay, then we move on to the next room.
Yeah, Briar, did you have fun with that?
I was not having fun that day.
You were
Yeah.
integrated into the story. I don't know if anybody told you.
Yes.
I chose to ignore all mentions of myself that came from that day.
You were a delicious bearded baby. Yep.
Grim Invictus Hive God of Lore says, DCP question, can we all make a vow that if we get the chance in the final shape campaign, we'll punch the witness in honor of Wei Ning, who claims she would punch the darkness? I'm sure we'll punch the
I'll
witness.
punch
Yep.
anything I'm given the
Yeah.
option to punch. I'm gonna punch.
Thunder-
That's me.
I'll make that vow.
Thunderclap the witness.
His eyes
That
are
would
really
be-
big.
They should do a lore accurate thing that allows you to be up close in shotgun or sword range. But I think the witness is going to be more of like a boss
mechanic.
that's a little far away from you.
Oh,
Yeah, he's gonna be like
you don't think
menacing,
we'll
like
go like up close and
crafting-
personal?
crafting things and putting stuff in front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I want to.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
find
what
a
I'm
way.
expecting.
The Titans
Ooh,
will
what
find
if
a
what
way.
if the witness like changes the environment around us? That would be cool.
That'd be dope.
Because the cat loves
Yeah, I think
to
so.
chop things apart, and put them back together all weird. I'm excited for that raid.
This is a good Mylan question, I guess. Like, knowing the witness, what went into their sort of genesis, the consolidation of an entire people into
Yeah.
one being. Like, what would that boss fight look like? How would this individual fight us?
Well, I mean, he's just like, well, they have just waved their hands to like completely chop apart ships, and that Titan just gets like minced, just goes
Yeah.
sideways. So I don't know if typical uses of the light would work. I imagine it's going to have to be.
We'll defeat him with the
we're
power
gonna
of
shoot
love.
it, aren't we? I don't know. What?
It's gonna be
love,
like-
power of friendship. Yeah.
It'll be like pre-raid activities, like missions, right? That the collective guardians will do to sort of diminish the witness's power to make them vulnerable to attacks from the light, right?
Damage to DPS.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't you
that's what
think?
I think. Yeah. That way it's a good way to get everyone involved, and
That's
maybe
right.
that's what they mean by everyone raiding is they're helping out with
Oh,
the raid.
true. True. Yeah, I don't know. The witness
You
is
gotta
pretty
tie his
big
wrist down.
too, right?
Let the wrist out, sir.
Oh,
Don't
yeah,
flick
what is
them.
what's the scale for the witness?
Big. I don't know. How big?
Big. Okay.
Yeah,
thanks.
there's been some artwork. I think it was in the Grimmel anthology, but I think it was just artistic flair, like 20-foot building or something, just like skyscraper big. But I don't think it was that in.
Ooh, maybe we can climb the witness.
20 feet is
Oh,
a
it'd be like-
skyscraper.
Everyone grab
I
grab
just
a
stuffed up my feet.
grapple.
Sorry about that.
Maybe we will finally get the raid encounter where we grapple and spin around the enemy.
I'm into it.
It's happening. Wee. Wee.
Jay has been invaded by many
What would-
humans.
Well, can the
But-
tiny human hear us or just see us?
You can just see.
I'll
it.
just do goofy stuffs.
Wanna
Yeah,
say
good
hi?
one, dab.
Yeah. Hi.
Bye. Nice.
Bradley
What would
Bell.
you guys finish? What would you finish on for like end of Light vs Dark Saga? Finishing off the witness, you could finish him off in any way. What's the way that you finish Destiny?
Bitch slap.
Just big elbow slap.
Backhand.
The
I think-
elbow drop. 100%.
I think it has to be just a thunder crash for me. Like I think that would just be the way I'd go out. Just a thunder crash or like a thunder clap. Just a good old punch.
Beyblade. We're gonna all grab 16 Beyblades and throw it at the witness and it'll go down spinning on him.
True.
That
I
sounds
think
fun.
if I was going to kill the witness, I think the way I'd really love to do it, that just give me the best adrenaline, would probably be to like stand still in a well of radiance and just like shoot my gun at him. I think that would really just be the climactic finish that I'm looking for.
That
Maybe
would be
to-
quintessential
Maybe
Destiny.
to shoot
so-
rockets at him.
Beyblades.
Bradley Bell says, now that we're almost into spooky season, what is one of your favorite or funniest Halloween memories? Costumes, trick-or-treating experiences, traditions, etc.
Mm.
We don't have Halloween here.
My
Halloween?
mom, my mom put on a little
Not really.
Halloween party one year.
Mm.
This was before her dad, my grandfather, had passed. He was getting pretty old, and he was like a career, like traveling singing evangelist. Right? He had like that was
Oh.
his thing. Like he was a tradesman. He would do like drywall and stuff like that to make his money. But then his passion was just to like travel from town to town, and churches would hire him to like lead worship and sing and stuff like that, do these revivals.
Yeah.
Stuff like that was his thing. And he was very, very anti-alcohol. Well, my mom did not think that he would drink the drinks there at this party because he was always particular about them. But so she had this beverage, and he did
Mhm.
not know at this Halloween party.
No.
And my grandfather got so wasted at this party. He was like, "This is really good."
He's like, alcohol's
Oh,
pretty nice.
feel like
Woo.
singing. As a kid, I'm seeing what's happening in real time. I was like, Grandpa, no. Yeah, that memory always stuck with me.
That's great. There's always a good story around like moms getting into the pop brownies,
Oh,
grandma drinking the wrong lemonade.
That's
There's
right.
always something.
What was the question? I missed it. I think I have a story for this.
Halloween memories.
yeah.
Okay.
Memories or funnies or traditions as well as part of it.
Not for Halloween, I don't.
When I was a kid, our town, like all the kids in our town, we weren't so big into Halloween as we were into. We called it Cabbage Night, but I think like different places call it a different thing, like Mischief Night or Devil's Night. But it's the night before Halloween, right? And like you go out and you just raise hell, like raising hell, like at a kid level though, like your toilet
Yeah,
paper,
yeah.
toilet
We're gonna
paper
eat
in
all the
trees.
cabbage. Oh, I'm the biggest rebel.
Yeah, your toilet paper in trees, you're throwing eggs at cars. Like that's probably the worst thing you're doing. Throwing eggs at cars, you're like shaving cream, that kind of stuff. Like pretty light stuff. Probably the egg in cars is probably the worst thing. Well, one year, just about every kid in our school decided to go to the baseball field and have an egg fight. Like I think the final count was something like 250 kids, and they had to bring school buses to arrest us all. Because the cops obviously came. And luckily, I was not there. I had been like sent off to live with my father for misbehavior. So I didn't get arrested.
Very in character for you.
Yeah, but like I know, I don't know. I would guess most of my friends got arrested that night. Most of the people in my high school got arrested that night, and it was like a common like experience of like having to sit in the school bus parking lot on your like hands and knees, like waiting for your parents to show up so they could come basically
Yeah.
bail you out of this situation. Like they arrested.
If I was a
Great.
bus driver,
crazy
I'd
amount
be
of
like, kids, we're leaving. We ain't going to the cops.
We're out of here. We're going to Vegas.
Viva la revolution. You always hear like there's the whole like Native American burial ground trope. I literally grew up about 10 minutes from the site of the Mississauga 1812 battlegrounds.
No kidding.
Oh, wow.
Where the Native American burial grounds are. And so that was sort of tradition for us as teenagers was how long can you last at Halloween night over at the Native American burial grounds?
Oh.
We'd go out into the woods and there were so many legends. They were great. But like one time, I swear to Bob, there was one of the legends was that you don't go to the natural springs there. There's like a natural well at the Native American burial grounds. You don't go there on Halloween night. We're like, oh, we're gonna go there. It's dumb. Swear to Bob, a little boy, just sitting on the edge of the well, just with his feet dangling off the side of it, kicking him. When we got close, we're like, nope.
Mm-mm.
It's a
Nope.
hard no.
Someone in your group's like, "Oh, little bro, just go
Yeah,
sit in the
that's
well."
right.
It's gonna be
That's probably
hilarious.
what it was. 100%. Probably what it was like. Hey, you want to make it an easy $20?
You want to
bud?
make $10
Just
the hard
sit-
way?
Yeah, just sit here and kick your legs and hum to yourself for the next few hours. Okay, that'd be great.
Sounds like something out of The Ring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't F around with that. I was like, no, I'm out.
Bradley Bell says, now that we're almost into... Oh, I just read that one. Rex says, hi, team. Hope you're all doing well. Regarding the next major DLC following the final shape, I'd like to hear your thoughts on what direction / story, gameplay, new light, etc. it could go in. I personally think it'll be a good chance for Bungie to refresh the franchise.
It is a good chance to do a little refreshing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
I see them
personally
holding it back.
hoping that we leave, like, the galaxy, or not the galaxy, but the solar system. Like, I'm really hoping that, like, okay, something happens, we go through this portal, like, we have saved Earth, but we can't go back, and we're starting our new adventures in a faraway place.
In 2 dimensions as a side scroller. Yeah, 100%.
It's Destiny 2. Destiny 2 is now a Metroidvania. I think that's a long shot, though. Honestly,
I see them bringing back like all content in some fashion, in some form, in little snippets. The way that they kind of phrased it to us is that they're going to do that a little bit. I don't know. That's how it felt. All the way through D1. Reliving all the experiences we've had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're gonna put little snippets in. They've already started doing that, I guess, to like try to keep the continuity.
Blandy McBlanderson says,
Oh,
That's a name we hear a lot.
"Oh yeah, because he's so Blandy. We asked Blandy to give us last week's question because he always answers it for us. So I'm gonna read last week's question so we get the answer. So he says,
nice.
The fake town name. Okay. So. All right, so I have 5 phrases. 4 are spells from Harry Potter. 1 is a legal term. Can you guess the legal
that's
term?
right.
Oh, no.
Number 1 is Partus Temporis. Number 2 is Brachium Emendo. 3 is Averte Statum. 4 is Specialis Revelio. And 5 is Expressio Unius. So this week he answered that question. And last week's non-Harry Potter spell was Expressius Unius.
Expressis Unius.
What
does it mean?
Really?
Did tell us what it means?
Well,
Express
you have
yourself.
Google.
I don't know.
Oh, well, how do I express?
Jesus.
Expressius. What is it? Expressius Unius? What is it?
Expressius
One-
Unius.
One
Udis.
espresso, please.
Yes.
It's a legal term.
I can't spell this.
Espresso.
So this week, he has 5 terms, 4 of which are real old-time names of diseases, and 1 is made up. So which
hold
one
it really
is
quick.
fake? Yeah.
I'll give you a Latin term literally meaning the expression of one thing is the exclusion of the other.
Okay.
Is this where Twitter gets their like, oh, you hate pancakes?
I was gonna say that sounds
Yeah.
like I like waffles.
Yeah.
Wait, that means you hate pancakes. No,
Yeah,
I didn't say that. I said I like waffles.
Well, I guess that's why they're all lawyers. So now it makes sense.
That's why Twitter's filled with assholes. They're all lawyers. All right. Real old-time names or diseases. 1 is made up. Which one is fake?
Yeah.
Number 1, Dandy Fever. Number 2, King's Evil. Number 3, Milk Leg. Number 4, Munson's Nether Bulbasemia. And number 5, Chin Cough. So which of those
I'm gonna say
is not
say
What's
the
the first
long
one
one.
again?
Dandy Fever? I feel like I've heard of that one.
gonna
I
go
think
with
that's
Dandy Fever.
real.
is that like allergies?
I don't know. King's Evil sounds right. Chin Cough. I don't know. Milk Leg.
What was the one right before chin
I think
cough?
for
The
Milk
nanny.
Leg-
Munson's
I didn't-
Nether Bulbasemia.
Munson's. That
All right, so
sounds
are
fake
these
to me.
actually these are diseases, like names for diseases?
Names for diseases. One
Okay.
of them is made up.
Old timey wimey. Okay.
4 or 5 for me.
Munson's Nether Bulbasemia
Give
or
him,
Chin
give,
Cough.
give
you
him to
think?
me again.
All right.
Quick.
Dandy
Chin cough.
Fever,
Okay.
She's typing,
King's
she's
Evil.
cheating.
I was talking to Chan.
Milk Leg,
Oh, yeah. Of course. you
Munson's Nether Bulbasemia, and Chin Cough.
Is the bulbasemia basically a long form version of like elephantitis or something? Because it says nether bulbasemia, like bulbous
Big penis.
nether
Was that what that
ridges?
means? You get
No, I
you get
think
diagnosed
No, like
with wow,
some
this
kind
is
of growth
unnatural.
or something.
I think that's what you get before Venusaurium.
Slow. All right.
I'm a dad.
Milk
so-
leg.
Ivy. No, Ivysaur. You skipped one. Ivysaurium.
I know. Well, I said eventually.
Yeah. Okay.
True.
Milk leg, King's
Mm.
Evil, Dandy Fever. I don't know. He's good at these.
Hmm.
He
I'm
is
gonna go
good
with
at
number
these.
4. Number 4 is not
Munson's?
real. Yeah.
What was the chin one called? Chin.
Chin
Chin
Strap?
cough.
cough. That's number
Chin
5. That was
cough.
my second choice.
I'm gonna go with chin cough because
Yeah.
I.
You
Yeah,
think that
I'm
one's
gonna
the
go with
fake
chin.
one?
I think
I'm
that's a
gonna
fake one.
I'm gonna say whichever one's the right answer. That's the one I'm gonna choose.
That's a good policy.
I won't even. Well,
Yeah, I mean, I'm
TV
just gonna
won't
change the
even
answer
know.
next week when we get told the right answer.
Munson's
so good at
nether
these.
bulbasemia. I
That
don't know.
does kind of sound
I-
made up.
Kinda
Yeah, I
weird.
wonder,
It
I
does,
wonder
but-
if it's taking like a word that like Munson sounds familiar,
Yeah,
but then adding like something
and
Do it.
nether.
that's not true.
Well, Munson,
I'm gonna
there's
go
often
number
a lot
4.
of diseases named after whoever discovered them, right? So they're just taking
Right,
the
yeah.
last name. And then bulbasemia, the bulbasemia is a bit they guess because they've just put this semia on the end to make it sound medical and combine it with a Bulbasaur.
Yeah, plus nether.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
does
why.
that mean that
All right, so we're all going with number
Could-
4. Are we all going number 4?
That's my
could
choice,
Chin be
though.
a last
Yeah.
name too? Was Chin cough?
Mm,
I'm
Well,
not.
I think there's also lots of stupid shit that was just like, oh, it's on the chin. Let's call it chin throat. You know, like, oh,
that's true.
So we're going with Munson's bulbic nether regions.
Yes.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
Nailed it.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you, Blandy. Let us know what we
Yeah,
win for
Blandy,
being
those are great.
correct again. We should actually like write down on what we choose. 'Cause I never
You gotta let me
remember.
know because I'm not on.
I think we'll
next
remember
week.
that one. Yeah.
I'm not on next week, so you gotta let me know.
We gotta let you know the
Tell you
answer.
what,
Listen
let-
to the gas, mate.
Regardless of what it is, just message me next Thursday and tell me I was right.
What-
okay?
What was the
I kinda need
town that
this.
was incorrect? Do you guys remember the town that was incorrect? Because that was the last
Oh, I don't.
I don't remember.
one. Okay.
That one was fun. I like that one.
Let me see if I can go back in Blandy's tweets and
It's okay. I'll figure it out.
no, I think it's too long. It might take me a while. Zachary Richardson says, you and your partner board an elevator. There's 6 people inside. Halfway up, your stomach gets a bit bubbly. You
I know
decide to
where this is
release a
going.
silent but deadly fart. What do you do? Blame it on your partner? Blame it on someone else? Or proudly establish dominance?
No, that's mine. That's what you
You
do.
said
You
they're
own
friends?
it.
You said
Your
they're friends.
partner.
You,
Just
your
one
partner, and
person.
some strangers.
How many
right?
people in the elevator?
There's 6
You
people
think-
inside.
Your partner and some strangers.
Yeah.
You own
I-
that
I-
because it embarrasses your wife and makes 4 other people feel uncomfortable. That's a literal win-win.
I'd probably just ignore it.
I just
Yeah, I'll just
stand there
ignore it.
being like, I maybe I'll do a little face.
My actions are really going to vary based on the mood of my wife at the moment. Like if I'm already on skating on thin ice, I'm just going to let it. I'm going to be completely silent. And I'll probably be like, damn, did you smell that when we leave the elevator? I think one of those people farted. But if she is in a good mood, I'm definitely going to have some fun with it. I might blame it on
Yeah.
myself. I might blame it on some random person and like make a big show of it. And I might just blame it on her. Like ask her, like, hey, how's that stomach thing you've been working on? And then let one fly while she's answering. the
stomach
Are you
question.
not
feeling
feeling
any
too
better?
good?
Like,
You still don't feel good? Okay.
I feel like I would ignore it, and then 5 minutes later, we'd be in the room, and my wife would turn to me and be like, "Was that you?"
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably what would happen. Yeah. Yeah. Go. Yeah. You know it.
my wife would
You know my
never try to
brand.
say. My wife would never wait 5 minutes. She would not try to save face for me. She would look at me in real time.
Is
and be
that
like,
you?
Are you kidding me, Ryan? That was
I know you're. Yeah, I know your flavor.
yeah. That's right.
Irvoid says, let's say you could invite any living person to a friendly, casual poker evening, and let's assume they all would accept gladly. Who would you invite, and what would you ask them or say to them? Thanks for your awesome work. Hope Teft is well and back soon. We hope Teft is well and back soon, too.
I don't know any
Poker
real
game.
people.
I
Yeah.
invite all of my idiot friends, and the thing I would tell them is it's a $200 buy-in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say anybody that I'm comfortable taking their money from them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd invite all the billionaires.
Yeah. That'd be
How
Mm.
many
good.
do you know? Okay, that's a good,
Yeah,
how many
right.
do you know? What?
I
That's
don't
a
know
good
any billionaires.
idea.
This is any
No,
living
you
person.
don't have to know them. You get any living person.
Any living person.
Yeah. You just
Oh,
invite
And then what
any
would you
living
ask
person.
them? I'm inviting all the billionaires.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to rob them.
And like, I'd be like, it's $1 billion stakes to get on the table. And like, what are they going to do if I don't fucking pay at the end of the night? Like,
I already put the money in. It's already there. That's my money.
I provided the snacks, you know, so like,
Yeah.
Win-win.
you guys are billionaires. You can lose $1 billion.
Those potato chips are actually handcrafted from the minds of
I am,
little children. Or
a
something.
lot of billionaires are a little dumb, so you could probably just tell them some dumb stuff like, yeah,
All
it's
right. Name 'em.
handmade by unfortunate sweatshop monkeys.
This
and
is
they'll go, "Ooh, I
artisanal
love
Coors Light.
That's great.
Joe Commendator says the new seasonal fusion rifle, the Aramite, has the perk called Control Burst, which gives increased damage and reduced charge time after landing every shot. How many of those solar bolts would it take to reach the perfect temperature to cook Briar? Jesus, Joe!
You had me in the first
Nice
half.
one. Nice one.
Nice.
That was
Got
good.
him.
We'll do 2 more. Set when the editor says, have you ever played Checkmate Control? If so, what do you think? Definitely think it could be applied to competitive or trials after some more tweaks.
It's good, man. Like I see lots of people being like, I'm having fun in Crucible. And yeah, like today I played it all day and I did random loadouts, which normally I cannot do. And I gotta say though, a portion of it is because there's no skill-based matchmaking. But there is also way less abilities, which feels very nice. And it's very nice to know at the beginning of the match, everyone doesn't have special ammo. So if you want to push somewhere, you're like, I'm not just going to get instantly shotgun. It's going to be a gunfight that we get into. So yeah, I think Checkmate's good. And we've already got some Checkmate updates coming. I'm excited to see what those updates are like because they're hitting all the kind of pain points that I could see. So yeah, I think they're doing good stuff. Put it everywhere, to be honest. Except, you know, you have Mayhem that's like the crazy ability regen, and that's where people can have that fantasy, and then you can have Checkmate.
Yeah.
Now, you made a comment there. Do you think that skill-based matchmaking would change the feel of that environment dramatically, or no?
I think it would make it to where you would only see Igneous Hammer on your team and the enemy team, which would make the pool of weapons that you're fighting against be a lot less. It's the normal kind of skill-based matchmaking issues, right? Where you lose the variety of gameplay.
Specifically at your level, do you think that other folks maybe lower down the totem pole might have a different experience?
I don't know. Yeah, I would really love to know. I'd love to speak to people who have jumped in and tried it and what they think about it. And if you have and you're hearing me say this, please let me know if you've tried it and you feel like you're getting pooped on usually in Crucible or whatever. I would love to know how you feel about how Checkmate feels, because maybe it's the case that abilities level the playing field. You know, they can throw an ability and then they can get the kill
A
on
bit
that
of a
player.
wild card, yeah.
Yeah. And also how you get special ammo. You get it through kills and capping points and picking up heavy. So I'd be curious what it's like for someone who's not getting a lot of kills. How long does it take for you to get special usually?
Right.
I'd like to know.
Well, last question of the night. Hugo Root 79 says, you find a hidden treasure map that promises unimaginable riches. As you follow the map, you encounter a group of sentient fortune-telling donuts that offers cryptic advice. What do they predict, and how do you interpret their wisdom? What?
If I eat them, can I obtain their knowledge?
I am a
Interesting.
donut.
How high were
fiend.
you when you wrote this question? Because this is me in
Sentient
Fran's
donuts.
chat before bed. This is exactly me in Fran's chat. Fran, well, if you were a donut and you had infinite wisdom, like how is he? He's like, oh God.
Let me just say this. I've had two meals today, and one of them was exclusively donuts. So I don't think that if there were intelligent donuts, they would be speaking to me to begin with.
I thought you were gonna say you've had 2 sentient experiences with donuts. So I'm like, interesting. Okay, how'd that go?
You must search inside the hole to find what you are looking for.
What would you do with that information?
You lick them?
Start staring in the mirror, trying to like.
You're like, okay.
Thanks
Kinda
for the
donuts we're
tip.
talking here, yeah. How big are they?
I don't think if TV's around, we're ever going to hear the information. I think they'll be gone before they ever get a chance.
I
to
am
speak.
a donut fiend. Hundo B.
I do like donuts too. Yeah, they're good.
What did the donuts
doesn't
say,
like
TV?
donuts?
Huh?
What donut?
Oh, they were talking. I was sorry.
Are there people out there that don't like donuts? Like, I understand if you can't have them, but like, don't like them.
I'm not crazy about them.
There's so many different.
I
I
kinds.
think
choose
some
other things.
people might be just like not
If you don't
into
like
sweets
cake and
that
stuff,
much, and
sure,
maybe.
sure.
It's not just. It's not just.
It's
about
not like
sweets.
candy
It's
corn,
There's
though,
a
where it's
wide
just-
plethora of kinds of donuts you can enjoy. Like
Yeah,
I
I gotta
hate
say, when I'd go to the
donuts.
carnival as a kid with my mom, and they just had like the warm, fresh donuts with a
Oh,
little bit
yeah.
of sugar on them, that was like my favorite donut.
Yeah, those
I
are
don't
good.
want like all the crazy stuff. I just want like really well done, fresh
Yeah.
donuts, a little bit of sweet,
well, yeah.
A hot
Deliver on
donut
the
is pretty good.
classics.
classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the litmus test for any bakery that serves
Yeah.
donuts. It's like, I don't care about your like super triple decker Oreo delight. It's like nobody cares about that crap. How
Yeah.
good is your glazed donut? How good is your cake donut?
Are
How
they
good's your
fresh?
raspberry filling? Are they fresh? Are they yeah, all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Donuts are good.
Warm.
Now I
donut
want
van?
donuts.
Where are we
Warm
going?
donut van with sugar.
that-
Yep, the
it's
warm
the-
donut van.
Instead of like an ice cream truck that goes around your neighborhood, it's the warm,
donut man.
There's at
That would be
every
a hot
carnival.
box.
It was a donut van and a warm van.
I think that should be the ice cream man's like winter gig, man. Running around with hot chocolate or
What
apple
song
cider
would it
and
play?
hot donuts. Yeah, I'm in.
What song would
like-
it play out of
That
the
sounds good.
speaker?
Ooh.
no.
SpongeBob theme, I guess. I don't know. It's like it'd be like the reverse of the stereotypes. It'd be like my kids are both grabbing onto my clothes from behind, like, "No, Dad, don't touch
No,
it." Like,
no.
the guy in the van says he's got warm donuts.
You're like looking through their piggy bank. Like, is there anything in here?
Don't
Daddy
go
needs
up
some
to
donuts.
Weird vans. Don't go up to weird vans unless they have jolly music playing. Then you're safe. Then it's okay. It's acceptable.
Well, once again, we have answered all of the questions the Destiny universe can provide. You're welcome very much.
We did it.
Yeah, I mean, unbroken record. Like, we're going on 10 years here. a lot
You're not wrong.
of perfect answers.
Mhm.
Flawless victories, I'd say.
Truly perfect. Definitely flawless victory.
Also, hey, did you know the boys are back? The Firing Range podcast aired last night. The Patreon version of the podcast that's ad free is live right now on our Patreon, and the podcast and the YouTube video will come out on Saturday. And man, I was really excited to see him come back. I'm sure a lot of people are.
Man, those are some great guys too.
Yeah, they really are.
They
awesome
are
guys.
good guys.
For a second there, I thought you were referring to the NSYNC stuff that's been going on, but you know.
Oh,
Well, that would be weird.
the boys are back. They're back.
I'm much more of a Backstreet Boys guy myself,
Oh,
so
man.
to like,
Yeah, I could see that in you.
Thank you all so much for joining us.
Briar
We'll see you
is the
next
kind of
week.
guy that looks to his best friends as bros and live and says,
Backstreet's
"Am I
back.
sexual?"
All right.
And we all go, "Yeah."
Yeah. Bye, guys.